everybody. Hello, welcome to Germany, welcome to Augsburg, welcome to our opening International Canoe Federation Canoe Slalom World Cup for 2023. What an exciting season we have coming up for you. World Cups, World Championships, Olympic qualifiers, it's all going to be here on our official broadcast stations. We're so glad you could be with us for today's racing. We've got semi-finals and finals today in men's and women's K1. We've had some great racing already. The weather here has been absolutely perfect, and the forecast for this afternoon is much of the same. My name's Ross Solly. It's my very, very great pleasure to bring you today's racing, and I'm very excited to be joined in our commentary studio this afternoon by a Canadian racer, Lois Bettridge. Lois, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi Ross, thanks for having me.
How exciting is it to be back racing again? First World Cup of the season.
Yeah, first World Cups, first World Cup nerves.
Yeah, there's a lot of that out there. You've already been out on the water. You've been out there a few times actually. I think you've had 4 runs already on the course, so you well and truly know this course back to front.
Yeah, and so 4 runs, unfortunately not successful ones for me, but that's okay. That's just slalom. So.
Yeah, tough runs, and the course has been very tough, and we saw this morning with the women's C1 and the men's C1 and yesterday as well, a lot of mistakes already on this course. Of course, this is a very famous course in canoe slalom history. It was the venue where back in 1972 canoe slalom made its Olympic debut, and what an exciting time that was. Of course, it disappeared off the calendar then until 1992, and it's been there ever since on the Olympic calendar, and of course next year it'll be very much part of the Paris Olympics, which we're very excited about. Some of the nations racing today, some of these athletes today are already vying for selection for World Championships later this year. So the teams are so tough, are so tight, that the selection process for European Championships, World Championships is already underway.
Yeah, and as well there'll be Olympic quotas available at the European Games in Krakow earlier this summer. Yeah,
really good point. 1 quota I think will be up in each at the European Games. So there's a lot on the line, there's a lot at stake, but today we're going to see some of the biggest names. There is one of them right now, in fact one of the biggest names in women's kayak racing. She is the reigning world champion, she is the reigning Olympic champion, Ricarda Funk. Gee, she looked good even though she wasn't the fastest. She was very, very good in the heats, wasn't she?
Yeah, Ricarda knows this course backwards and forwards, but here we have Dominika Breszka starting out her semi-final race.
Yes, first paddler on the course already. She's from Poland.
Oh.
And you can see already it's a pretty tough course. I don't know that the athletes are going to find it all that easy. It was hard in the heats. It's going to be even harder in the semis. Dominika is, I think she was second in the 2022 Junior World Championship, so good form at a junior level. And the first one out on the course for the semi-finals this afternoon. Of course, the top 10 will all go through to the final, which will be later on this afternoon. Looks like she's already picked up a 50.
That was a really tight gate. Those first 4 gates haven't changed since the qualifiers course, and there were a lot of penalties following earlier. So no surprises, but too bad.
Yeah, so for those who are just watching for the first time, if you miss a gate completely, it's a 50-second penalty. If you touch the gate, it's a 2-second penalty. So basically, if you touch the gate, you're still in with a chance, of course. 2 seconds there's another 2-second penalty there. You see a clear touch. 50-second penalty, you're out of the race. Really, there's very little chance unless everybody gets a 50. And she's fine. Where were the tough parts of the course this morning?
Well, the first 4 gates, gate 2, 3, 4 that stagger at 3, 4, 5 is very tough. Technically challenging, and the water's not super consistent, so it's a little bit you kind of have to have good planning for various surges and stuff there, and then there's also the section at 18 that's tricky.
Yeah, there's an upgate there that was really tough.
Yeah, and the notable changes between the qualifications course and the semi-finals course are under the bridge, gate 7 and 8. The stagger is much wider. The gates 10 and 11, the upstreams are switched, so the different orders. Hopefully nobody does them backwards.
Yes, well, so again, for those watching for the first time, the green gates you can go straight through like this.
my Canadian compatriot.
Yes, the red gates you've got to come around and go back through. They're called upstream gates. These green ones are downstream gates. Now this is your teammate Leah Baldoni.
Yeah.
21 years of age.
First semi-final.
Yes, first semi-final, first senior semi-final, which should be pretty exciting for her. How was she?
Yeah, she was pretty jazzed. I know she was disappointed after her first run yesterday, but she really pulled it together and put together a really nice run in qualifications too.
Unfortunately, looks like she might have picked up a 50 on gate 8, so 2 athletes on the course, and already both have picked up a 50-second penalty, which is an indication of just how tough this course is. Top 10 go through. The top athletes, ideally, Lois will want to go through without any mistakes.
Yeah, we'll be looking at clean runs probably for the podium, but you never really know. We've seen earlier today not a single clean run in women's canoe.
Unbelievable, yeah.
So
Not even the top 2 or 3 athletes could go through without a gate touch in the women's C1 this morning. But she's after that early mistake, there was a touch there as well. After that early mistake,
that wasn't a planned S-gate there.
No. So there are different ways, Lois is alluding to there are different ways you can attack different gates, aren't there? And tell me, what's the process for these athletes before they go in the water? Do they have a clear idea how they're going to attack the gate, or is it a lot of it driven by how the water's pushing them once they get on there?
No, for the most part, it's pretty well planned out. Obviously, there's adaptation during a race run. You'll change your plan according to water movements or mistakes. But you have a pretty clear plan of exactly pretty much what strokes you want in specific waves and everything. It's pretty clear.
Yeah. So unfortunately for Leah, with 50-second penalty at that time, she will find it very, very hard. But it's a good experience for her first senior World Cup semi-final.
That was a nice spin for Lois.
Yeah, Lois Lever now, just 21 years of age from Great Britain. She was 13th in the Under-23 World Championships back in last year. So she's been paddling for a couple of seasons now, getting a chance now at a senior level to test her mettle. And so far, just the one gate touch at the top of the course. Is Augsburg considered by most of the paddlers, Lois, as a tough course generally?
It's a very specific course, and I would say, yeah, it's very unique, which means that it's hard to perform on it if you're not from here or you're not used to paddling on it. It's very different from modern day artificial courses, especially where Lois trains in Lee Valley. It's much slower water, bigger features, more consistent, versus here narrower and faster, kind of wiggly niggly.
Yeah. So alongside the banks, you can see some feet there. They are the judges whose job it is to watch the athlete. Yeah, that was very good. To watch the athletes going through the gates. They will rule if there's been a touch or if there's been a gate miss. There's also in mission control, we have people who are observing the monitors there who can go back and double check. And just if there's anything contentious, anything that needs to be reviewed, they have the ability to do it. And sometimes we see when an athlete's already finished their run, extra penalties added or subtracted depending on what they see. Now, this young lady we're expecting to do very well. She had a bit of trouble yesterday in her first run. Her boat unfortunately didn't meet the required. Oh, did she? No, she's all right. Didn't meet, there was a problem with her boat, so she had to do a second run to get through. She's a better known C1 paddler, of course, but gee, she's done well since she's come across to K1.
I think it was last season was her first senior season in K1, and she absolutely just nailed her season last year in both canoe and kayak, and looks like she's starting off this run very nicely to do the same this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see her in the final.
Absolutely, and she's certainly, I think, for the later paddlers in this field, she'll be the one that they're all watching now just to get an idea of how to attack these gates, how to attack these new gates that Lois is talking about, a couple of switches, a couple of different gate placements. So you could imagine that some of the athletes who are still to come will be watching Teresa Fizarova, going to school on what she does, and at the moment, it's a very tidy run.
Yeah, Teresa's definitely not a perfect paddler, but she never gives up. She'll make mistakes, but she doesn't let them stop her, and she pulls together the crazy things after little mistakes.
remember last year, Lois, do you remember in a kayak cross, she got a paddle to the face.
Oh, yeah.
And then so she raced for the next couple of World Cups with a big scar over
Yeah.
I think it was pretty scary for people.
Well, and in the World Championships here last year, she dropped her paddle in the last upstream.
That's right.
And she flipped 3 times with no paddle and hand rolled. And that was an incredible show of sportsmanship.
Look at that though.
There we go.
Clean run and straight into the number 1, and there's a bit of a smile there. She'll be pretty happy with that. As I said, this is not her favourite. This is not her favourite discipline. She prefers the canoe, but she looked like she had a very nice time out there, and that is the time to beat now, 105.18.
And I think a 105 might not be bad. We'll see as it comes up, but in comparison to the first runs, or I guess the qualification runs, slightly different course, but not too different.
Yeah.
We had a 99.
99 is ahead for that incident. Yeah. So anyway, that's the time people have to beat, and as you can see here, a 50-second penalty already for Janina Krasinga from Belgium. So
this is her home course. She races for Belgium, but she does live in Augsburg with her family.
Okay, so she knows this course pretty well.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, she's run into a spot of bother at the top of the course, as a few have. Gate 3 seems to be causing some problems at this early stage, Lois. We'll need to keep an eye on that, and athletes will need to adjust there. So there are 30 athletes in the women's semi-final, of which 10 will go through. In the men's semi-final, which comes up straight after this, there are in fact 40 athletes, of which 10 will go through. So it's pretty cutthroat there. And generally we can expect, well, Teresa's time was 105.18. I think the top athletes will be looking to go just around the 100, maybe just over the 100.
Yeah, I think we'll be looking maybe even 99.
Yeah. Anyone who goes under 100 will go through. I think we can safely say that. So 2 missed gates now, unfortunately, for Janina Krasinga from Belgium. Great to see the Belgians here. Traditionally, they're not a strong canoe slalom nation, are they? But
that being said, last year there was Gab who made it through into the final in Co.
That's right.
He's pretty excited about that. I think there's some momentum building maybe in Belgium.
Well, it's great to have them here, and great to see new athletes always turning up. But Janina, unfortunately, well,
a little surprised.
she's asking the question. I haven't. Oh, yeah. I think that's 50, unfortunately. So, just explain to people at home, Lois, with the 50 seconds, what has to go through the gates?
Yeah, that's right. So it's your whole head, from your chin to the top of your head, and part of your boat at the same time that have to pass through the gate line. So if the gate is swinging, that means the bottom of the pole, where it is. So if half of your head goes through, or if your whole head but none of your boat goes through at the same time, it is a 50-second penalty. So earlier, yeah, we saw half of her head go through that gate.
And it's difficult, but we do have camera angles that can help out with the judging for that, and they will always review those close ones just to make sure the calls are right.
Yeah.
How exciting is it to see this young lady in a K1 semi-final? Marta Berticelli, again, she's a C1 paddler. I think this is her first K1 semi-final.
Maybe.
No, I think it is.
Is it? Okay,
yeah,
wow.
she came up, she ran up to me yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
In the seniors, yeah. She ran up to me yesterday.
She's definitely made some good results in U23 kayak.
Yeah, she was so excited to be through to a semi at her first senior World Cup, and we will see her. We saw her in the canoe this morning. She went straight through in the heats, but now in a kayak. And
for the trained eye, you can see the canoe technique coming in.
Yes.
In her kayaking, but it's still really nice to watch.
So for those again at home, the kayak, of course, a double-bladed paddle, and the athletes are seated in the kayak. In a canoe, it's just you're actually on your knees, and it's just one blade on the paddle. So a big difference between the kayak and the canoe. But Marta's been pretty happy with this run.
Yeah.
She's going to cross in second at the moment, and no penalties.
Yeah, a clean run. That's something to be proud of, even if it's not the time you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah, Marta always smiling after a run, so
yes.
that's good.
Yep. Now, there's cousin it, Lena Tunissen from the Netherlands on the course, and
very strong paddler.
Very, very strong paddler.
So Lena's also based out of Augsburg. She lives here, just 5 minutes by bike from the course, and she lives and trains here.
There seems to be a couple of centres. A lot of athletes based around here, a lot of athletes based at Pau, of course, in France.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the Canadians are based, our national training centre is in Pau, and there's definitely a few nations that train heavily out of Pau.
And whereabouts in Canada do you train normally, Lois, when you get a chance?
We have a small course in Ottawa, where I live, called the Pump House.
Yep.
It's not huge, but it's a very nice place to train. It's definitely not the same caliber of whitewater, so we do spend a lot of time in Europe training, or Australia. We obviously can't train there in the winter. Oh, let's go, Lena.
Yeah.
I think she'll be okay with that, though. I think
as you can see, she leant forward. It looked like she got her head through, but it'll be a bit of a nervous time for her. She won't know. Sometimes you hear the commentators. You can hear the commentators if they see a 50 go up. You'll hear the commentators yelling, won't you?
Yeah.
It's amazing actually how much the athletes can hear when they're on the water.
Yeah, definitely some runs you hear the commentators more than others, depending on your focus levels, and sometimes it can be the thing that unravels a run too. If you think it's going well and you hear something, whether it's positive or negative, it can really spin a run.
So there's Lena Tunison into second position with 2 touches, so 4 seconds in penalties.
Yeah, disappointed with that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she could have done better, unfortunately. But here she is. She gave her best.
Yep. Now, Victoria Wolfart, who's been around for a little while. She's 2-time under-23 European champion, I think, in the K1.
Yeah, she's definitely been on a lot of podiums.
Yeah, for sure. Always been thereabouts. She had to take 2 runs yesterday to get through to the semi-final. And she was pretty relieved when she got through.
Yeah, she did have the 3rd fastest time on the 2nd run.
Yeah, yep. So expecting big things from Vicky. She's a seasoned campaigner, does the K1 and the C1 here. She's been doing both, so that's good. Pretty clean start to her race there. Now you can see there in the time at the top, that is the split difference. So the split is useful, but it's a little bit random because it's basically a handheld device, and they click it when an athlete goes past a certain stage. So it's but there you can see, so at the moment she's she's around 2.5 seconds down on the time that set by Teresa Fizarova from the Czech Republic, but big difference between first and second at the moment. There's a 4-second gap already. So
that was a tidy spin. I think that was a pretty good option to go spin and then an upstream right. I think we'll see, especially at the top boats, we'll be seeing the upstream right, I think, might be a faster option rather than the S gate we were seeing yesterday. There's more options in the S.
So tidy run so far for Victoria Wolfart from Austria. She's
see the determination on her face.
Yeah.
Just not mess up the last 2 gates and go through. That's another clean run. That's good to see.
And normally by this time you're absolutely spent, aren't you, by the time you get to the bottom of the course?
Yeah, totally gassed.
Yep, so she's okay. She's clean, which is good. And just 2 seconds or so down, there's Naomi Fox, the younger of the Fox sisters, ready to have a rumble a little bit later on. Now, expecting something special from this young lady, the French teenager, Emma Vouton. She's a silver medalist at the 2021 Junior World Championships. One of the exciting young French paddlers who are coming through the scene. And she's had a couple of really good World Cup events, so if she can put it together here, she might give this a bit of a shake. Absolutely.
Emma is a very poised paddler. She's very precise, and we'll see. Yeah, oh, I think she went above the gate. I'm not sure. Yeah, so she unfortunately, she did her spin and then she exited back out of that eddy just above the downstream gate instead of passing through it. So she'll have 50 seconds added to her time.
They are reviewing it, which they always do for 50 seconds. But yeah, Lois called it there, and I think she was spot on. But, that'll be, and she'll know that already, and now she's just got to grit her teeth and try and learn some stuff on this course now.
Showing off. There we go. We love it. That was awesome.
That was good. That will just make it even more frustrating for her when that was tight as well. That'll make it even more frustrating. She's had a couple of problems there with a couple of the down gates. So 50-second confirmed now on gate 8, unfortunately for Emma.
Unfortunately, upstreams like that are sometimes the ones you only do when you know you've got a 50 earlier. You're not going to risk a...
Yeah.
But...
So, well, we've had a few 50s already out on the course. And Emma Bouton adding to the list. So no finals action, unfortunately, for her this afternoon.
She'll be very disappointed, but it is just the first World Cup of the season, and so we'll see her again in Prague and Tossin, I believe. I'm not 100% sure what the French have planned. Not everybody goes to all the World Cups, but...
Yeah, and as I mentioned in the introduction, Lois, different countries are having different selection. So for some countries, this is part of their selection today, is part of their selection plan. So now Kimberly Woods always puts up a good show, exciting to watch. She does go by the seat of the pants a little bit. She was incredibly back in 2021 at the World Championships. She finished 3rd, and why I say that was incredible, because earlier that week she'd had a car accident.
That's right. She got, oh, there we go. She got her stern a little stuck on the wall there, her tail. She wasn't able to rotate and blew right past gate 8.
So that's it. That's the race over for... I did say she's a seat-of-the-pants type paddler. When she gets it all together, she can be absolutely awesome. But
yeah, she's a very strong paddler. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, it's the name of the game.
Yeah. I was just mentioning that in Bratislava, yes, that had a car. They got T-boned. In fact, on the way home from training one night. Yeah,
it was a long drive from the course to the venue we were staying in at that World Championships, and yeah, it was a country road. They just got completely sideswiped, I believe.
Yeah, and they were a bit shook up, but Kimberly somehow managed to come out on the weekend and pick up a bronze medal, which was quite amazing given that the week she'd had. But unfortunately, not coming together for Kimberly today. She will get the chance, of course. The great thing for a lot of these women paddlers, including yourself, Lois, is if you make a mistake in the K1, you can always come out then in the C1 and try and redeem yourself.
That's right, yeah. And so Kim will be taking as much information from the rest of that run and applying it tomorrow to the semi-final.
What came first for you, K1 or C1?
I started in kayak and then canoe and then came back to both.
Yep. How do you find that, doing both?
Oh, it's fun. To me, it's more fun to do both, and you have more options, more events. It's more energy spent, but
and it gives you an extra look at the course.
That's right. Yeah. There's a lot of information you can take when you're in one boat to apply to the other boat. Here we have Eliska Mintalova, a very, very, very fast paddler when she's on it.
She's a former under-23 world champion and I think a European champion as well. So I think she's a very consistent paddler and can be very fast. Yeah,
I think she shared the European championship last year with Stephanie Horde.
It was a tie, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's right.
They tied for gold.
Very unusual.
Yeah, we have a touch there on gate 8, but she didn't miss it. So but she's still ahead on the split as well, so it'll be interesting to see what she can put together for the rest of this run.
Some great camera angles here we're getting for the run. You can see
you can see the boom in the back there.
You can see the boom, yep, and I'm sure the athletes can probably see that when they come down, but that's good. They know then that they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
So just dropping off now, might have been another touch there, wasn't it?
I think that might have been water.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if the water splashes up and touches the gate, that's okay. You don't get a penalty for that.
But if your hair touches, it still counts as a touch. It's any part of the body.
Was it Jess Fox last year whose ponytail at the back clipped a gate on the way through and cost her 2 seconds? It may have even cost.
I think it cost her a gold medal.
I think it did. She hasn't got a haircut though.
No, but she does wear it in a bun now instead of a braid. So.
I reckon her mum might have made her do that. Stick that hair in a bun, young lady. So, yes, they're reviewing gate 14. I thought it was a bit tight, but we'll come back and see what the judges say about that. Still quite fast, though, for Mintalova. She's going to be up there in the top 3, I would think. Crossing the line now. She's 3rd, yes, so...
Fisarova's still with the reference time at 105.
Fisarova's still the one to track down. We've still got a long way to go, of course. There are 30 paddlers altogether on the water, so we're just over a third of the way there now. Now,
here's Ava, a very focused paddler, very intense.
She's, I mean, she won that world title back in 2019 before, Tokyo.
Yeah.
she's had a couple of, I know she was disappointed in her performance in Tokyo, and she's had a couple of disappointing outings since then. For her confidence, it'd be wonderful to see her really nail a run here and get through.
Yeah, it's always hard, but getting the confidence back after not failures, but less than desirable performances can be tricky. But Ava loves kayaking, so I think that's part of what keeps her on the World Cup circuit, driving and pushing for the fastest time.
And she's exciting. She's exciting to watch. And in a couple of weeks' time, we'll be on her home course in Tucson, and she always does very, very well there. But
yeah. Oh, that was nice. Oh, tight. I think she took a touch. Yeah.
So
that's unfortunate. We will see her at the start of the kayak cross as well. She's definitely a competitor to watch on the kayak cross.
You're doing the kayak cross?
I will be, yes.
Are you looking forward to it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Of course, new Olympic event, which has brought a lot more interest to the event this year, and I think there's going to be some pretty fierce racing. There'll be no prisoners taken, that's for sure.
I think it took a few years for people to get, and that's a piton. That'll be very costly on the chrono for Ava. I think this won't be enough for her, unfortunately, to pass through to the final.
No, unfortunately, she's going to be over the 110, so that'll be a bit too slow, I think, unfortunately, for Eva, and she's,
disappointed with that.
I think she can't question any of those decisions. I think they're all pretty straightforward. But you just got to get out, refocus, and come back and do it all again. Now, Stephanie Horn, somebody else who's very familiar with this course.
Yes, that's right.
Steffi races for Italy, but grew up not far from here, and I think did all her early paddling.
She raced as a junior for Germany, I believe.
Yep, she did. And of course, she's been to a couple of Olympics, finished 4th, in fact, in Tokyo. So always a very, very strong competitor, Stephanie Horn.
Yeah, and she's the one that shared the gold with Mintalova. So.
Yep, the European. So let's see what she can do. She knows this course probably better than anyone, really, with the exception of
Ricardo might know it a little.
Ricardo and Eleanor Lilik, who we'll see on the course a little bit later on as well. But Stephanie does always feel pretty and look pretty comfortable on this course. So let's see, she's clean at the moment.
Yeah, she has a distinctive style as well, and I think it's suited to this course. It's well suited. The powerful strokes, but also pretty high frequency on her strokes. I said that as she starts floating, but
yep, just trying to get her line back.
There we go.
She's okay now. She lost a bit of rhythm there. But
I think she was going to go for the upstream right, and decided to. There we were talking about a plan versus adaptation. I think she might have changed her plan.
Yeah, you'll hear, and she's actually picked up a bit of speed on the bottom of the course, which is surprising because I thought she looked like she was coasting there for trying to get her rhythm back, but. Her time's actually looking quite good now. If she can stay clean, we may have a new race leader. Stephanie Horn coming down now. I think she will take the lead. Yes, well and truly. She's going to cross the line a couple of seconds ahead of Teresa Fizarova, and she goes into the #1 helmet slightly skew-whiff.
She's happy with that,
but she's pretty happy, and she says, thank you very much. I enjoyed my outing. I'll see you hopefully in about an hour, she says, or maybe an hour and a half. Now, speaking of seat of your pants paddling, Anna Satilla.
Yes, always exciting to watch Anna race.
Always exciting. She's never afraid to take risks, and when it comes off, it really does come off. But sometimes she does cut those edges.
Touched that gate forward. That was a silly touch. That wasn't even a problem with her line. That was just a paddle, I think.
Yeah. So the problem is because she'll know it's a touch, and so she'll try and pick this 2 seconds up, and that's sometimes when paddlers make mistakes. Make mistakes, isn't it? Because they think I need to pick up a couple of seconds somewhere.
That was nice, though.
Yep. So Anna Satilla, she's been paddling. She made her Olympic debut way back in 2012. She was only a teenager then in London, and of course she went to Rio in front of her home crowd. She was in Tokyo in 2021, and will be eyeing off a 4th Olympic Games next year in Paris. She's a 2-time under-23 silver medalist, so always a fantastic competitor, fierce competitor. So she's going all right. She's just that 2-second touch, but I hope that's not going to see, there she goes. She's actually been a lot safer today than she sometimes is.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know, not safe enough. Well, I guess it's safe enough, but the touch, safe option is not going to be maybe enough.
Yep. Let's see how she goes. We're going to split in a moment. So she really lost a bit of time there somewhere. 6 seconds out.
Yeah, her upstreams haven't been very snappy, unfortunately.
So she'll be disappointed, I think, in this time now. She's getting up she'll be around the 110, so she'll be in about 4th or 5th position when she crosses the line. As she goes across now, she's 6th, in fact. 6.6 seconds down. So, yeah, oh well. And there's a review there. Let's have a look for Anna. I think you're right. Was it the paddle? Let's have a look here. Is there a touch there?
I'm not sure.
Maybe it won't. Maybe they'll take that 2 seconds off. Let's have another look there. She's... Oh, it's hard to see where that touch came from. I think she's okay. I think that, to my untrained eye, Lois...
Yeah,
yes, there you go. Penalty's been removed. So, does that change her position? Not a lot. I think it will maybe jump her up to 4th.
We have Zuzana Penkova, recently added to the Red Bull team from Slovakia.
Exciting. Young paddler, just 18 years of age. Wow, what a future this young lady has. From a strong paddling nation, of course, Slovakia. We know that they always have strong women and strong men in all levels, K1, C1, and she has a very exciting future. I'm looking forward to seeing where this journey takes her.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, she wasn't in the top 3. She wasn't clearly in the top 3 for the C1 team, so she'll be racing in kayak, and I don't believe she gets all of the World Cups in canoe, but some of them. She was tied for 3rd place.
Okay.
So.
Doesn't that just show you the depth that there is in the Slovakia?
It's very competitive, yeah.
Yep.
She's following the footsteps of Jana Dukatova with Red Bull, and the support that comes with that, I think, is critical to a successful career. So, well, that was
I think she was okay there. Yep. So, just that one big gate touch with on her back at the top of the course. Oh, she's picked up a couple more though. 21 and 23. Couple of gate touches there as well, so let's just have a look at her reaction. Not too much surprise. It's always interesting to have a look and to see what when they cross the line, whether they're unhappy with some of the calls they've got.
Yeah, that's right. Or even just with whoa, that turned out okay, but.
So this is Aja Novak from Slovenia, of course, teammate of Eva Terschel, and yeah, two top 10 finishes last year on the World Cup circuit, so consistent paddler.
Yep, she'll be aiming for the finals, but we will see.
Yeah. So what do you think at this stage? We're about halfway through this semi-final, Lois. What do you think of the course? So where can time be made up, do you think, and where are people losing time?
I believe, well, the spin under the bridge at gate 7, 7-8 is a make or break if that's well executed, or if you're sliding out, or if you're missing that gate. I would say that's one of the critical points, as well as this section here that Ida's coming into at gate 16, 17, 18. I think there's a lot of time to be lost here. Gate 15 and 16 are further apart than they were in the qualifications course, which makes it harder to get across to gate 16 for the paddlers. And you see some of them coming in just making it into the gate 17. So.
And have you spotted, are there any obvious places where people can make up time down towards the bottom of the course if they're struggling a bit?
It's hard to say. It depends on the paddler, and definitely, yeah, getting stuck on that wall doesn't help.
No.
Making that move very smoothly can definitely give you a little boost on the time. But the water is very fast here in Augsburg, so there's not a lot of time where you can just sprint to catch up.
It's a really good point.
You have to execute the technical moves to get your speed, to maintain your speed.
It's a really good point. So we hope you're enjoying our coverage of the women's K1 semi-finals. My name's Ross Solly. The learned voice you can hear is that of Lois Betteridge from Canada, who has joined me here in the commentary. We're bringing to you The semi-final of the women's K1, 10 athletes will go through to the final later today. And we have now on course our first Chinese athlete. Now, very interesting. We haven't seen her on the World Cup circuit for many, many years, I think.
But I can't remember. Yeah, she's definitely been before, though.
2016, she actually won a World Cup, believe this or not. She won a World Cup in 2014 in Lee Valley. She won a gold medal at a World Cup event.
Right. I remember actually recently rewatched that World Cup. I wasn't sure if it was her. Again, she was ranked very low, bib 39 or something for that race.
Yeah.
And then went out to win it. So that was very impressive. And yesterday, she started one of the first boats down the course. And
for a long, long time, she was holding the best time, wasn't she?
Yeah, she set the reference time, and it was a good one.
And you can tell, by the way, watching at home, the bib numbers, that will give you some idea where they started initially. So 57, she was very low down on the start list. The higher the number, the higher ranked the athletes are. So when you see Ricarda Funk later on, she'll have number 1 because she is number 1 in the world. So
I think Jess is bib number 1.
But Jess is number 1. Yes, yeah. Of course. It's World Cup winners from last year, I think. She was
it's ICF points, so yeah it's a combination of
hard to believe
races.
That the reigning Olympic and world champion is not number 1, but that's the way the point system works.
That's right.
So 2 gate touches but fast, actually very fast despite the 2 gate touches. So it's actually going to be a reasonably good time, but ranked 10th, so no chance there of a final for Luli. But welcome back.
Shake of the head.
Yeah, welcome back though to the International World Cup scene. It's great to have the Chinese here, and we know the depth they've got in paddling at all levels, so I'm sure that as the year progresses we're going to see some pretty good results.
Yeah, that's right. I think they did really well in the first World Cup for sprint paddling as well last couple weekends ago.
So Monica Doria Villarubla from Andorra, and the Andorrans, they go pretty well considering the size of their nation. It is but a speck, Andorra, but they paddle very well, and so they should. They've got some pretty good paddling conditions up there. They've got some great white water, I think.
Yeah, really, really nice rivers and great paddling, but I know that Monica trains out of Liceo d'Urgell in Spain.
Yep.
With the Spanish team as well. She trains there.
She was at the Olympics. I think she was 11th at the Olympics. She was picked up a 5th, I think, in a World Cup in Liceo last year, so on her home course. So
yeah, she's a very good paddler, both in canoe and kayak. Another one of the triple class women.
It's exciting having all these new options, isn't it? And exciting for paddlers to potentially, some of these paddlers will be eyeing off the chance for 3 gold medals or 3 medals in Paris, which will be quite something to behold, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. That would be quite an impressive feat, but absolutely not unmanageable for certain athletes.
No. So Monica Doria Villarubla from Andorra at the moment. A clean run, no mistakes yet. Her time is, it's not too bad. I think she's going to be, she'll be top 5 for sure when she crosses the line. I think she's going to come in now at 3rd. So
it's a long finish sprint.
Yeah, a little bit of a nervous wait now for Monica because there's a lot of athletes still to come, and she needs to just bide her time and hope that some of the athletes behind... a little
bit too much edge for Ava there.
Yeah, Ava Hosovar on the course. She's one of the exciting young paddlers, just 21 years of age. She was 8th in the 2021 Under-23 World Championships. We are sort of waiting for her to show us reach her potential, because we know what she can do. We've seen her some days. She's absolutely incredible for a young paddler.
I definitely don't think this is her first semi-final in kayak, and she's made a few semi-finals in canoe as well. She just has to put together a run in semi-finals that can put her into a final.
There was a touch there, wasn't there? So 2 seconds, that's going to make things a little bit tricky unless she can pick up some time later on in the course. But now with the fastest time, the time to beat is Stephanie Horn's 103.5. And the top 4 athletes at the moment on the leaderboard all had error-free runs. So that's what you've got to beat if you want to try and make it through to the top 10 and the finals later on this afternoon. What's the feeling, because this is a new format this year, Lois, of course, afternoon finals. Normally the finals are on a Saturday morning, Saturday lunchtime, and then a Sunday lunchtime. This time it's a Friday afternoon. What's the feeling like amongst the athletes there?
Yeah, I think it's mixed reviews. There's a definitely different to have the canoe and the kayak qualifications on separate days. Yeah, that's another touch there for Ava. Yeah, the different format, it did pose some problems yesterday, I think, for the organization. With the different time, having a race held on a Thursday, I think it makes it hard to find volunteers. Oh, and she's a little upset there.
She's not happy with her time there and 2 gate touches. What did you enjoy the 8 a.m. start this morning?
Oh, it was a bit early. Yeah, 8 o'clock start doesn't mean you get here at 8. It means
no, it does not.
You're here a couple hours before then, so.
Great to see this young lady back paddling, Amelie Hilgertov. Oh, there's a gate touch early on. A couple of years ago, she was the next big thing. She was going to take the world by storm, and she did there for a little while. She had some great results, picked up some European under-23 and junior world titles. Missed the team though a couple of years back, and is just fighting her way back. And I know, speaking to her earlier this week, she was so pumped to be back on the senior team. And hopefully, if we can see her in a relaxed frame of mind, we'll see the very, very best paddling from Amelie Hilgertova. Famous paddling name, of course.
Absolutely, the Hilgert name. The Czech trials are harder than a World Cup
brutal.
field.
They are brutal.
We got to watch them. They streamed them on Czech TV, and the level of paddling from all of the women and the men was absolutely just.
As you mentioned, it's the selection trials for a couple of countries are harder than the World Cups themselves. And there are athletes there who don't quite make it, who could easily on any given day pick up a medal at a World Cup. So at this stage, just one touch there at the top of the course for Amelie Hilgertova.
You can see the precision there. She just avoided a touch, and it was maybe critical for her to not go.
Now that is perfectly legal, folks, watching at home. You can push off the wall if you like. A lot of the athletes, you'll see a lot of the men doing it later on to try and get a bit of power coming off the wall if you're in the right position. So let's have a look at her time now. She's going to be outside, I think. The final, she's a little bit disappointed in that run.
Yeah, the punt in that upstream is really challenging with the flat wall. To exit out of the upstream with wall being completely vertical, it's very easy for your paddle to slip, as we saw happen to Amy there.
So Camille Prigent from France spent the summer down in Australia at Penrith, training and getting in some yards in the warm weather down there ahead of this big season, and whoa, she's out fast.
Yeah, Camille has a lot of speed on her boat at all times.
But there's a touch
there, but I think she took a second touch there on gate 9.
Yeah, so sure. Definitely a touch on gate 8 though, which wipes away all that advantage that she had early on. She was out of the gates so fast. Camille, though, it's an interesting year for the French, of course, because they're hosting the Olympics next year. So not only is it exciting and thrilling to be part of a home Olympics, but to actually get there and compete at a home Olympics is next level excitement, isn't it? So
yeah, tensions were high this year at French selections.
I bet they were.
Yeah,
and they still are.
And I think the team, I think the team knows that there's no coasting at the beginning of this season.
No.
So they'll all be vying for top results for the first 3 World Cups, that's for sure, and then we'll see if there's any changes to the team.
So the judges still having a very close look at gate number 9.
Falling off the back of the wave there.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately now she's got to work her way back up, and a lot of seconds dropped there for Camille Prigent. So I don't know that she's already up to the 100 mark. She's going to be out, unfortunately for her, and potential of a 2-second. But no, that 2 seconds wasn't added, so that's good news. So 6th, yeah, that's going to be tough. It'll be very tough for her from there. We've still got 8 paddlers to go, yes, and when you look at their paddlers still to come.
Well, we have Yasmin, who came back from retirement last year to race at the World Championships home race in Augsburg, and then made the team again this year, so maybe retirement's not quite the right word for her.
No. And way back in 2009, she was a world champion, of course. She's been to the Olympics and still putting in. And you talk about the competition for positions on the French team. Gee, there's a mess of that game.
Grabbing a wall there. I think she's just. I'm not sure.
Okay, I don't know.
I think she didn't want to go down backwards on the right side of that of the zoom flume. It's very powerful water there. It's very unstable. I don't think it's a very comfortable place to be going backwards.
No. So unfortunately for Jasmine, that is going to put her out of the mix, you would think. We talk about how the competition for the French team, but gee, look at that German team when you have the likes of Funk, Lulich, Schonberg. I mean, it goes on and on, doesn't it?
Absolutely,
there's so much depth.
Yeah. There's at least 5 more names I can name off the top of my head that could have easily made the German team this year. So the 3 that did make it, congratulations to them. And yeah, that's what makes them competitive on the world stage when they're racing so hard to make the team. The level is competitive internationally, so that's great to see.
So have the Canadian team, have you finalised your selections for World Champs at this stage?
For the World Championships, yeah.
Yep.
The 6 boats that are here will be the 6 boats.
And you're staying here for the full summer?
I'm not. I'm heading home back to Canada a bit in June, sorry.
Yeah, there is a break.
Where the European Games take place.
Yep.
Obviously, the Canadians are not participating in that.
No, not yet. Yeah, one day maybe if you invade Europe or something like that.
Yeah.
So yes, unfortunately for Jasmine, lost a lot of time up the top of the course there.
Yeah, not the run she wanted, that's for sure.
No. Yeah, let's just see what happened here. So she was okay. She could have kept on going, but
I
as
think
you
it's
say,
just that she caught her edge. She was sliding too fast.
And took the time then to try and turn things around.
Missed the start of Martina's run, but she's heading down zoom flume here. We'll see what she does. Spin.
Yep. That came up as Naomi Fox, but it's not Naomi Fox. That is Martina Wegman, who is on the course. An exciting, very exciting. She's a much improved paddler, isn't she? She really, and she seems to go at her best on the hardest courses because she does so much wild water paddling.
Yeah, she's a very good river paddler and transitioned to slalom a number of years ago and has made finals and semifinals fairly consistently, I believe now. She's a name that's not a shock to see in the top 10.
Absolutely not. And in fact, she was in the World Championship finals here on this course last year. I think she was 7th in that. So she has shown that she doesn't mind this course at all.
Yeah.
She has got a 2-second penalty and a potential second 2-second penalty, but
she's gritting her teeth. She's pulling hard. We'll see.
Her real love is the extreme. She loves the extreme slalom and always does. As a kayak cross, sorry, I've got to get used to the new name. She loves kayak cross, and she really, really throws everything into that.
Yeah, she knows how to move a plastic boat very well.
Does she ever?
Yeah. Although with the new boats, they feel very similar to our carbon slalom boats.
Okay.
So they're the Piranha and RTM and Letman have all come out with boats that are very similar in feel to a slalom boat. So it might even the feel from the river paddlers to the slalom paddlers.
So at this stage, no penalties. She had that earlier. Oh no, there we are. Gate 4. There was a 2-second penalty. So unfortunately for Martina Wegman, that puts her into 11th. We have 3 qualifiers now confirmed for the final. Stephanie Horn, Teresa Fizarova and Monica Doria Villarubla are all confirmed for the final. So
Naomi taking a touch there.
Naomi Fox, the younger of the Fox sisters, is out on the course at the moment. Super pumped she was yesterday to go through on her first run through to the semi-final. Just now needs to be able to hold it together. Oh, goodness me. Gate 8's proving to be a real problem, isn't it?
Very, very challenging figure there, gates 6, 7, 8. Even from 9 to 10, you have to re-enter the current or paddle down the eddy. So there's, it's not obvious and it's not easy.
No, there are lots of... I heard a couple of the athletes saying that when they looked at the course, they thought the top didn't look too challenging, but then when they got on the water, they soon realised there was a few hidden tricks there that caught them a little bit unawares.
Yeah, and with this new format, it might it's definitely an advantage to be well placed in the first run of heats because it means you get to watch more paddlers go. The way it used to be, you could watch different categories. Well, obviously the first category always was going first, but you had more time to analyze the course. There's much less time between seeing the course and performing on the course now. So that changes things a little bit.
So the athlete watching on nervously at the moment is Victoria Wohlfahrt from Austria. Her time is 1:07.91, so I think Naomi's going to be outside that time, so that will mean Victoria Wohlfahrt will go through to the final, and Naomi at the moment, well, she is sitting in 11th, so she will miss the final, unfortunately for Naomi Fox. But congratulations to Victoria Wohlfahrt. She will be very happy to be in the final after having to take 2 runs yesterday to get through to the semis, and being quite nervous about it all. She'll be very happy to. Now this young lady,
Antoni Galashkova, she's young and
exciting,
strong, and very nice paddler to watch.
And from a very strong Czech stable. You know, the Czechs have so many outstanding paddlers in the men and women, don't they? And this young lady, what a bright future she has. She's just 22 years of age.
Yeah, and she was chasing her older sister for a number of years. But then she surpassed her, I guess, and her sister retired.
Yep. Oh, she's got in a bit of trouble there, though.
Except that's costly.
Lost a bit of time, unfortunately. She was 6th fastest in the qualifying, so on a day when a lot of the athletes were struggling, she did pretty well. But at the moment, she's lost a bit of time up there at the top of the course. So can she make it back? Again, the bubble is with Eliska Mintalova, who has a time of 1:09.14. And at the moment, I think that, unfortunately for Antoni Galashkova, she's going to be outside that time. She's really got herself into a couple of spots of bother here that's been difficult for her to remove. So
yeah, it's hard when you make a mistake early on at the top of the course to keep your run together as you go down the course. Usually you know if you're out already, and she might know it's not the run she wanted.
No, she's going to be outside a top 10 time, I think. So that will mean that Eliska Mintalova from Slovakia will go through. She'll join the list of finalists.
Which puts Camille, the next one on the bubble, I believe.
Yes, Camille Prigent from France will be the next on the bubble. So 19th for Antoni Galashkova. She'll be a bit disappointed with that after a pretty good heat run yesterday morning. Shake of the head there, disappointment. Now there's a lot of hair here that could pick up, that could hit a gate.
Yeah, Claudia took 2 runs this morning in C1, and neither of them was successful to get her into the semi-final. So I know she was quite disappointed with that. She was a very good canoeer as well. Went
down and spent the European winter, the Southern Hemisphere summer in New Zealand, with Martina Wegman down there, and did a lot of training. Oh, there's a gate touch there.
And a spin, unplanned spin.
Yep. And apparently had a great time down there in New Zealand. Well, why wouldn't you? Beautiful part of the world, New Zealand.
I think it's a bit warmer than Krakow.
Yes, at that time of the year, yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Although she did say she didn't get as much sunshine as she would have hoped in New Zealand. It can be a little bit like that.
Claudia always finds something to complain about.
Does she? Oh, Claudia. Come on, Claudia. So a 2-second penalty on gate 9, but it's quite quick. Her time's not too bad if she can keep the pace going. As we said, it's Camille Prigent from France with a time of 1:09.25 is the athlete at the moment, watching on from the sidelines to see if she'll make the final. So 1:09.25, folks, remember that. That is what we're looking at here for Claudia Zwolinska. The 10th fastest time at the moment is a 1:10.81. So
a 4-second gap on the second split is still manageable to make it into the top 10.
Yep. So if she can hold it together for the bottom part of this,
sprint fast.
I think she's going to be pretty close.
Claudia.
It's going to be very close for her. She's gone straight through to the final.
It'll be great to see her final run as well. she'll tidy up some of those mistakes.
She's the highest ranked athlete at the moment with a gate touch. So now Jessica Fox, what can she do? We know what she's capable of on her day.
Oh, and that's a
Did she miss it? She's missed the gate completely. Oh, Jess.
Yeah.
And she's gone.
Oh, that was a tight. Yeah. Oh dear.
Well.
They've given her a 50-second penalty on that. I'm not sure if that's.
They'll review it. They'll review it for sure because she did go back and try again, but the head. Yeah. We'll have a look at the replay.
Tight, yeah.
And there's a touch there as well, so it's all falling apart a little bit for Jess Fox, unfortunately.
We might not be seeing her in the first World Cup final of the season.
And that will be
quite shocking.
A bit of an upset, of course. The C1 is where she's the reigning Olympic champion, but she's so determined to make a mark. It's a K1.
Well, she doesn't have bib number 1 for no reason.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So, and the 50 has been reviewed and it's staying there.
That's of course very disappointing for Jess.
Yeah. The team can challenge, of course. The Australian. How long have they got? I think it's like 5 minutes after a run for a team to challenge. Or no, it might not even be that long.
I don't know if there's any more protests in semis and finals. I believe the final call is the final call. At least for finals, there's no more protests. I don't even know the rules.
And also a review on 15, and look at that. So Jess Fox will be absolutely mortified that she's missed this, but good news for Cami Prigent, who's a very good friend of Jess Fox's, so I'm sure she'll be very grateful to Jess. I don't think she'll want to go up and thank her just yet, though. Maybe just give it a little bit of time. But Cami Prigent now will be through to the final. And I would think, Lois, that a few of the athletes will be breathing a sigh of relief knowing that Jess Fox isn't going to be in the final.
I don't know. Everybody's hoping for the best for their competitors, I think. It's never nice to see.
No. But it will make the final a bit easier.
Sure, yes. Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest names out of the final.
Yeah. And
yeah,
then,
poor
look
Jess.
at that. Yeah, she just...
Yeah.
And then she got back, but then it didn't quite get the angle right again. Now you can see here, she's put the head under, but
her chin was not quite there. And I think that's one of the hardest things when you loop for a gate like that, is you feel rushed and sometimes you don't take enough time to fully fix the mistake.
So from one champion to another, and look, they don't come any bigger than this. Olympic champion, world champion. You know, it took a while to break. You know, Ricky Funk used to struggle with nerves a lot and bottled it sort of in the lead up to 2016 when she should have gone, but just stuffed up her because the nerves got the better of her.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden she was unbeatable. She was on the top or second in the podium.
Yep.
Almost every race.
Yep. and paddles now with an incredible confidence and just so strong. And she was so good in Tokyo, and then followed it up on this course here last year to take the world title. Now she's got definitely one touch, maybe two, but if there's one athlete who could get away with having 4 seconds in penalties and still get through to the final.
That's right. She's super focused. She's always looking at the next gate, always driving the boat, and a mistake won't shake her too much there.
I'll tell you who's very excited at the moment is Lena Junissen from the Netherlands, who is on the bubble. What would it mean for that young lady to get through to a final? She will be absolutely ecstatic.
Yeah, especially on her home course.
But she's not going to get through thanks to Ricarda Funk, who's with 2 seconds in penalty, possibly another. She can afford to have another gate touch and she'll be fine.
Yeah, there's the 100 seconds I was talking about earlier. Yep. Ricarda, Elena might also reach that 100-second mark, and we never know with Vika. It could be incredibly fast as well.
Yeah. It seems cruel that only one of Ricarda Funk or Elena Lilik can go to the Olympics.
And a big touch on gate 2.
Yeah. So Elena Lilik, such a strong paddler, again coached by her father, and of course her maiden name was Apple, and Thomas Apple was one of the biggest names in the sport.
Yeah, and her husband is going to be on the bank cheering her.
Absolutely.
Former pro hockey player. And her sister will be on the bank as well. She did 4 runners earlier, so paddling family.
Yes, so she's had that touch, but again, she's like Ricarda Funk. I mean, she can get through with a 2-second. Maybe not in the final. If she wants to win a medal, she'll need to be clean in the final, but I think to get through the semis and into the final. 1 gate touch, maybe 2 gate touches shouldn't affect her. Now, Ricardo Funk was given a 2-second penalty, so 4 seconds in penalties, but it's just dropped her down from first to second. So 4 seconds in penalties.
Wow, yeah.
And she's still second fastest.
Yeah, and here we have Elena coming in faster on the split, even with the touch up there. So paddling with the confidence of a German on a home course, I would say.
And again, Lena Tunison, what a nervous time this is going to be for her watching on. She's still sitting there on the bubble, but she's going to need Elena Lilik to do something pretty crazy from here to stuff this up, because her time is very competitive. She needs to just be calm now and get it all right and try and keep her line at the bottom of the course.
This was very nice from Elena. It was safe. It wasn't maybe the fastest one we've seen this afternoon, but it was definitely safe, and that's all she needed to get comfortably into that final. So
through she goes now. She'll be in 4th position, which is not a bad place to be for a final. I don't know whether it's best in a final to go off early or to come late. I always thought that if you go out first and set the time that everybody else has to beat, that's easier than being the last one on the course and knowing what you've got to do to win.
Yeah, I would imagine. I think it would be nice to just, for a lot of people, just to be in the final.
Yep. Now,
oh, here we go. Vika's.
This young lady, I mean, given what she's had to put up with and go through in the last 12 months or so, we all know what's happening in Ukraine. She's tried to keep such a positive attitude all along. It's been absolutely terrible talking to her, and she gives me updates on what's happening with her family and what's happening at home and all that sort of stuff. It is heartbreaking, and we really, our heart goes out to all our Ukrainian friends, and we have a lot of friends from the Ukrainian canoe family and the canoeing community. So you should always know that the International Canoe Federation is standing strongly beside you, and we just hope that athletes like, another touch unfortunately though for Vicky, so that's 2 gate touches. The time we're looking at, this is because Vicky is the last paddler on the course. At the moment, Elena Tunison's time is 109.53, so Victoria has to go under the 109.53. With
2 touches, it's going to be tight for her, but she also is a very fast paddler, so she might be able to maintain just inside of that. Yeah,
she was the fastest in the heats and looked really, really strong.
Yeah, so 6.64 seconds would put her outside if she doesn't make up some time on Lena in this bottom section. So we'll see.
And there's a review on gate 16, so that might be the deal breaker. 2 seconds.
One more touch would be too many, but with.
So 109, she's got to go under, and she's just outside.
She's out even without that touch. She won't be in the final. But
so heartbreak for Victoria Oos, but they'll be cheering.
An incredible showing.
They will be cheering in the Netherlands right now.
Yes, Lena will be thrilled for making. Is that her first final?
That will be her first final for Lena Tunison. So what an exciting time for her.
Yeah, big smile on that face, I'm sure.
Wow. So let's have a look. We'll have confirmation in just a moment of our top 10. But there we go. What do you think? Have a look down that list there, Lois, and what can you tell us from that list of finalists?
I mean, 10 very strong paddlers, all I would say contesting for a top 3 finish. No surprises. There's no boats that we wouldn't expect to be in that final.
No, a couple
boats that we expected in the final that aren't up there.
A very European final, because we didn't see the Brazilians and the Australians and the Americans getting through today, but it's still going to be a really, really good final, I think, with Stephanie Horn, Ricardo Funk, Teresa Fizarova, Elena Lilik. I mean, there's some quality athletes there. Did anyone really catch your eye there in the semi that you thought looked strong and looked like they had a little bit of up their sleeve still in the final potentially?
I think we saw a couple mistakes from Ricardo that we won't see in the final. I think she'll tidy up her run and be a little more precise, keep the boat running in that final run, as well as I think the same thing can be said about Elena. I think both of them are going to be really pulling for that top spot. Mintalova, she I think had a little bit left in that run. Here we see the replay of Leah, and a couple mistakes being highlighted here.
Of course, the finals do take it up a whole new level, and we will have the final. I'll tell you what time exactly. The women's kayak final is due in around an hour and 45 minutes from now. So please make sure that you set your alarm to come back to join us.
There we got a replay of Lena quite upset with her run, but I think those emotions don't stand now that she's into the final.
No, she'll be absolutely over the moon.
Yeah.
Over the moon. Lois, thank you so much for being... Are you going to come back and do the final with us?
Yeah,
Can I twist your arm?
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple hours.
That'll be wonderful. Thank you, Lois Bedridge. Lois Bedridge from Canada helping us there. She'll be back to call the final and to give us her insights in about an hour and 45 minutes from now. We're going to be having the men's semi-final in just a moment. So now we're seeing the lineup for the men's kayak semi-final, and my name's Ross Solly. It's my great pleasure to welcome to the commentary position now British paddler Christopher Bowers, who we would much prefer to see you out there on that start list, Chris, but unfortunately didn't quite come together this morning. Welcome to the commentary position for you, though.
Oh, thanks for having me.
How was it yesterday out there in the early rounds?
Yeah, didn't really go the way I wanted, but I think it just goes to show, like, Augsburg's such a unique course. There's always a lot going on with the water, really boily, really inconsistent, so it's who can read the water well and then paddle what's in front of them that's really important, I think.
Yeah, fortunately, I mean, this is the start of a long season, so you have plenty of opportunities later on to make amends.
Hopefully, yeah, that's the plan.
So 40 paddlers here through to the semi-final. Of course, there's a Brit up there at the top, Chris, Joe Clark, back in some pretty good form yesterday. It's a really interesting lineup, though, isn't it? What do you make of what you saw yesterday and who's in the semi-final?
Yeah, I think it's changed a bit. There's some younger names on the final, on this semi-final start list, so it'll be good to see them racing out, see what they can deliver, challenging some of the more maybe old-timers like your Peter Cowsers, who have been there for a long time and doing it really well and still pretty amazing.
Now, here's a teammate of yours. What can you tell us about Johnny Dixon?
Yeah, Johnny's really good. He's usually really consistent in training. Made the senior team for the first time this year, and see if he can deliver it on the senior stage.
I think he won a bronze medal at the under-23s last year, I think it was, wasn't it? 2022, so no slouch. And to get through to a final, you've got to a semi-final, you've got to work pretty hard. This course is challenging, Chris. It was challenging yesterday, and it's still challenging today.
Yeah, no, there's some really tricky sections, and there's some sections that need to be a lot harder as well. So that's 7, 8, 9 that Johnny just did there. He did it really well with that spin. And then this double up here that he looks like he's paddling really well. Looks like he's really comfortable paddling within himself and just in his groove there.
Yeah, no, there's a review on gate 6, but it's a bit tight, but we'll see what the judges come back with there. But we saw a lot of the women having trouble there at the top of the course, and that penalty's now been cleared, so he's going well so far at this stage of the course. No penalties, which is, for an early run in a semi-final, that's what you want to try and do, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks really good here. As I say, he really looks in his groove. He's just done that stagger really well, and he's coming onto the spin now. Let's see if he can stay tight on it and get the movement up.
Yeah, good there. So holding it together. And now the fastest women's time was around the 100. I think Ricardo Funk went around 100. What would you expect, Chris, to be competitive here for a men's semi-final?
I think we're starting to see towards the low 90s. I would have thought that would be pretty competitive, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, hopefully Joe can go and smash out of the park and maybe go sub 90, but you never know.
So it looks like Johnny Dixon's, he's got a review, but at this stage 96.47. It's nice to get that first one, and just for a little while maybe. be number one on the board.
Yeah, it's always the perk of going first, I guess. You're going to be in first at the finish of your run, no matter how it went.
I think that he will find with it if it remains clean, which at this stage it is. There's still an asterisk next to his name, but if he remains clean, 96.47, it won't be the worst time for sure.
Yeah, it looked good and just consistent all the way through, so hopefully that'll put him in good contention there.
Liman Huang now from China on the course. He's made a couple of World Cup semi-finals, 24 years of age. Good to see him back paddling and paddling well. Haven't seen a lot of him though, not regularly up there in the top, and there's a touch there, I think, pretty clear touch, wasn't there? So on gate 8, which caused a lot of problems for the women, gate 8, and looks like it's going to be a bit problematic again here.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky stagger there. You've just really got to settle yourself and get that spin nicely and not trying to rush it. The water's pretty crazy, and obviously what's below, you don't want to mess it up.
So how's things in the, tell us what the qualifying process, have you got your World Championship team finalised yet for this year, Chris, or is there still selections to go on that?
Yeah, so the British team had their selections back in April, and that was it was 6 runs, best 4 of 6 runs counted, and so we've selected our team. So we've got me, Joe and Johnny paddling for the kayak men, and then Etty Chappell is going to take up the extra kayak cross space as well.
He loves his kayak cross. I think it's what he lives for. Exciting to have the World Championships and Olympic qualifiers on your home course.
Yeah, really excited. I missed it in 2015, so it's really nice to get out there. Had the small experience of the World Cup in 2019, so a bit of a taste of what it could be, and yeah, I'm really excited to get out and be able to race in front of that home crowd.
And so it's always exciting to run. Let's just have a look now at Lehman's time. So 4.5 seconds, 4.7 seconds behind Johnny, who Johnny did get a 2-second penalty in the end, unfortunately, which bumped him up to 98.47. The 2 gate touches there for Liman Huang from China. Yeah, I was just going to say, it's always exciting and we're so fortunate in this sport, canoe slalom. We've got a handful of Olympic courses around the world that we can return to, and it always has a special feel to it. And Liceo in Spain, and this course, of course, Augsburg and Lee Valley, and we're going to Penrith in Australia in 2025 for the World Championships. It's always great to be on a course where the Olympics. Rio's another one. It's pretty special to be able to return to those venues. Yeah,
no, I mean, the few I've returned to, it's certainly been really special, and being able to paddle them again. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Seeing Eric on course now, he's looking like he's had an alright top section, just with that penalty on gate 9.
Eric, of course, was at the Olympics in Tokyo, and previously had picked up a bronze medal in the under-23 World Championships back in 2018. So a regular. Eric, ooh, is he all right there? That was a bit touch and go, giving him a 2-second penalty on gates 9 and gate 14. So I don't think in a semi-final, Chris, that you can get by with a couple of gate touches.
No, but I'm sure he'll take some learning from this and be able to take it to the World Cups. I know Hugh Swetnam is his coach, former senior paddler for Great Britain, and I know they've got a really good bond, so hopefully they can take some learning from this and ultimately take it to the World Championships, which I'm sure is his main race of the season.
Yeah, it is for nearly all the athletes. Well, for all the athletes, I mean, that's where the quotas will be decided in Lee Valley. Individuals will not win places in Lee Valley, but countries will, and that's what the goal is, to make sure you can get your country with a quota, at least a quota, for Paris next year. So Eric's time there, so slipping out there 3rd at the moment. So Johnny's sitting up there at the top of the leaderboard. Yeah,
Johnny's time looks good. I think without that penalty, he certainly would have been in a really good position. Will that penalty prove costly? I guess we'll wait and see.
Now, 23-year-old David Giusetti from Italy takes to the course, 10th in the under-23 World Championships back in 2018. Good hair. I like that, Chris. He's got good hair, hasn't he?
Yeah, has a good head of hair.
Bit of Ed Sheeran. Ooh, gee. He cut a couple of gates fine there. But he's fast at the top. He's really thrown it out there. They're going to review gate 3. That was close. I think I'll have a very long look at where his head was when he went through that gate. Nice through there, though, through gate 8. So he's got a bit of speed about him, but those 2 touches might prove costly, I think, for this young man from Italy, another very strong nation when it comes to kayak. looking smooth enough, Chris, on the water, but those penalties, and confirmed now it was a 50. I thought it did look to me like he was in a bit of trouble with the head there.
Yeah, I think he asked the question, and I think when you do that, that's leave it up to the judges. Usually doesn't go in your favour, so I think you can learn from this and take it on to the next race. But it's good to see him out here. We haven't seen him on the senior circuit much, so it's good that he's got a World Cup and hopefully take something from it. That was really nice there on the ice.
Yeah, very good. So just for those who are just joining us, there are two levels of judging that happens here. We have the judges on the side of the course who use the naked eye to determine if somebody touches a gate or if it's close to a 50. And then they have a pin pad which they can register what happens. And then there is a ground control where they are watching video screens, and they'll go back and they'll check anything that's contentious. They'll automatically check anything that was a 50 to see whether if there's any wriggle room there, and then once they've reviewed the videos, they can then make a decision on whether it's a 50 or not, or a 2-second penalty or not. So unfortunately for David Giusetti, he did get that 50, so at the moment he's well and truly out of the running. Fredrik Wallen from Sweden, been around for a few years now. Fredrik always gives it his all. A couple of semi-finals in his career. He'd love to get through to a final.
Yeah, and another Swedish boy in the semis here, which is nice to see. I think, did Isaac make it through as well? I think so.
Yes, he did.
So all 3 Swedish in, which is really cool to see.
Yes, in fact, Isaac scraped into I think he was just on the cusp of the top 10 for the qualifiers, so he was very strong on the water. Can any of the Swedes, though, take that form into a final? There are 40 athletes here. It's a tough gig. 40 athletes down to 10. So it's going to be a hard road to the finals, and you would expect that for most of the finalists they'd need to post a clean run to get through, to guarantee themselves that spot in the final. And it's a tough course to have clean runs. As I mentioned before, the women's C1 this morning, there were no athletes who posted a clean run. There were only a handful in the men, and we haven't seen anyone go through yet in the men here for a clean run. So whoever does do it, they'll find themselves in a pretty strong position.
Yeah, Fredrik's just looking quite composed here. He's just keeping the boat running while he's staying clean, most importantly at the minute, even though he's a bit down on Johnny's time. Let's see if he can make it up on this bottom section.
So, just lost his... No, he recovered well there, Fredrik Wallen from Sweden. His time is going to be around the 100 mark, which will put him outside the top 2. He's third at the moment, so unfortunately I don't think it's going to be good enough. But importantly, it's our first clean run of the final. No penalties at all for Fredrik Wallen. Just lost a bit of time in mid-sections of the course. So clean, but not quite fast enough for Fredrik Wallen.
Oh, I think this boy is really exciting to watch. He's only 15, I believe.
Have a look at that, folks. 15 years of age, from a famous paddling family, the Hossavaar family. But what future has this kid got?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible at 15 to be competing on the senior stage, but not only competing, actually really challenging on the senior stage. And yeah, he's got some real skills. Exciting to see.
I tell you what, though, he's whacking more gates than he's missing, unfortunately, at this stage. But I would imagine at the age of 15, I don't know whether, Chris, you can remember when you were paddling when you were 15, the head would be full of excitement, it'd be buzzing at the moment. He would just be paddling with reckless abandon. He's got nothing to lose, has he? Yeah,
I think that's the thing. He's got nothing to lose. It's pure joy out here. He's just going to be racing, having fun, and doing some really good canoeing that we're seeing.
Yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a pinball machine on the gates, bouncing between one and the other. You can see there he's racked up a whole heap of 2-second penalties. But what an opportunity for him at a semi-final at a World Cup level on the course where canoe slalom made its Olympic debut. I mean, what an opportunity for this young man, 15 years of age. But unfortunately, yeah, a lot of gate touches, but he'll put that down to a learning experience. And Johnny Dixon, the boy from Great Britain, still sitting up there at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, Johnny's holding it there really well. Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, I think it's going to be close. Yeah, that penalty is going to put him on the bubble, but you never know on Augsburg. As I say, it's hard to deliver the course here, so it might, well, fingers crossed it'll be enough for him.
What great excitement there from Zigo Hossifar, just soaking it up. I'm sure he's got family here, very excited, very proud of him out there on the water. And he'll live that, he will remember that run for a long, long time. Now, one of the characters on the course, Noel Hendrick from Ireland.
Yeah, Noel's done some really good paddling here before. I know last year at the Worlds, his second run in the heats was really good. It was a bit of a tricky start here with gate 1-2, but see if he can compose himself and bring him back into the run.
Yeah, he's all right so far.
Bit caught out there on gate 5.
Yeah, and a touch there.
As well, it's going to be costly for him.
Yeah, so he will be aware of that. So now, obviously, Chris, when this happens, the paddler gets in their mind they've got to try and make up that 2 seconds somewhere, don't they? And then mistakes start happening. Yeah,
it's always tricky not to then push the lines and go too far the other way and just end up making loads of reckless mistakes because of it. It's a really fine line, and I think, well, we're seeing him pushing the lines. Looks like he's just about holding on at the minute, but I still think that top mistake has been a bit costly for him.
Yep. So 2 seconds on gate 5. Noel Hendrick. So the time at the moment, only one athlete has gone under the 100 seconds, and that is Johnny Dixon from Great Britain. He went under there with a gate touch. So, well, maybe could that be? Could he be in the mix? What an exciting day that would be to have Johnny Dixon through, having been the first paddler on the course for a semi-final.
Yeah, that's always an interesting one. If you're first down and you still hold him first for longer and longer, it becomes more real that you might be making that final.
What's it like, Chris, when you're out there and you post at a time which you think is competitive, but you've got to sit and wait and see what everybody's doing? What's it like as an athlete?
It usually feels like a pretty long time, especially if you're the first off. I think you're probably one of two people. You sit and want to watch the race, or you just want to get away and let that 40 minutes pass without really looking at any of the racing, because you don't want to know what's happening and just turn up at the end and find out.
So what do you reckon Johnny will be doing right now?
I think, knowing Johnny, he'll probably be wanting to watch them times going down and see where it's putting him, and seeing where he is through the runs.
Yep. Well, he's still sitting there at the top of the leaderboard because, unfortunately for Noel Hendrick, he was not able to have any look now. I don't think it was a 50. Was it a touch, though? No, well, he didn't touch it, so I think he's okay. I think they'll give that the okay, but let's have another look from a different angle. What do you think here? Yeah, he's fine there. Yeah, I think it's okay. I can't see how they can give that a penalty for Noel, but it's not going to make much difference to his time, unfortunately. Let's see what the judges come up with. They'll have a very close look at it. Still looking. As we come through here, I think there might have been a penalty removed, so he's okay, Noel, but it doesn't make a big change for him. Now, speaking of exciting young paddlers, this young man, 22 years of age, a lot of American hopes pinned on Joshua Joseph. And is that his time? What gate is he up to at the moment?
Just coming through 17 now.
Yes, okay, so we missed
it. He's had a few penalties through his run, but actually,
unfortunately, we missed the top of his run. So, yeah, that's not going to be good for him. 4 seconds at least, possibly 6 seconds in penalties. But exciting young paddler. It's good to see some of these young guys coming through, Chris. A lot of these guys that you've raced at underage events, etc., and now taking them on in a senior competition.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to see Joshua Joseph paddling. He's really exciting. He's usually really pretty tight on the lines and cuts it to the nth degree, but it's always exciting to watch because of that. Unfortunately today it doesn't look like it's quite worked out for him with them penalties, but I'm sure he'll be back raring to go next week in Prague.
So Joshua Joseph, with Tyler Westfall still to come for the US. He had a very good heat run, so if he can repeat that in the semi, he might give himself a bit of a shake, give himself a bit of a show of some finals activity. Now, Tim Anderson from Australia, we know he's fast. Last year he put out a couple of electric runs. Oh, Tim Anderson, that's not going to help. Big whack of the gate at the top, and that was close as well. He's fast, Tim Anderson, and he's from the Lucien Delfour stable of go as fast as you can and take as many risks as you can, and we'll just see what happens when we get to the bottom. Yeah,
Timmy's super exciting to watch. I think he's come on a bit since the old COVID lockdown. He's got some good work put in Australia during that time and come back for the international seasons. Looked really good the past 2 seasons. Never quite put it together at the right time, but we know he can be quick on the water.
Another gate touch there, unfortunately, for Tim Anderson. So that'll make things tough for him. We're still looking at the time set by Johnny Dixon, which is 98.47. That's the time to beat. And that's the marker time at the moment, which Chris said at the start that it might go close to being in the mix, and it's certainly, unfortunately there. A lot of paddlers making a lot of mistakes on this course, just trying to make up some lost time. And unfortunately 3 gate touches now and still a couple of gates to go.
Yeah, the course is proving pretty challenging. It seems like a lot of people are struggling to hold on towards the end, and especially stay clean, with only 1 clean run so far in the first 9 paddlers.
So Tim Anderson now will come down. His time's
going to be quick.
He's actually going to
penalties are going to prove really costly.
Yeah, he's going to have a very quick time here. He's just, wow. Look at that. 6 seconds in penalties, and he's still gone under the 100. He will kick himself there because there are a couple of very lazy penalties he gave away.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be pretty frustrated, but probably happy that he's managed to put that run time down. It's quite simple to know what he needs to do next run is just go clean with that speed, and he'll be fine.
Yeah. Now, Peter Kauser. I mean, what can we say about this man? He is an absolute legend of the sport. There's a touch early on though for Peter Kauser, which will not impress him one bit. One of these athletes that we know, Chris, every time he goes out there, he'll cut the corners, won't he? He'll try and pick up just a split second here, a half second there, and that sometimes doesn't work out for him.
Yeah, Peter's super experienced though, so a touch early on probably won't phase him too much. He knows how to paddle the rest of a run and not chase it. He's had lots of experience at it, and he's just super silky and smooth and can keep the boat running really well, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do on this bottom half now.
Always a paddler that tries and cut. He does cut the lines a lot. I know the judges get a bit nervous whenever he gets on the water, that they're going to have their work cut out, but when he nails it, my goodness, some of the best runs I've seen in canoe slalom have come from Peter Kauser over the years. And of course, back in the Olympics, back in what year was it that he won the 2016 silver medal in Rio? Oh, there's a big touch there, unfortunately.
Yeah, another touch. He was getting in touch with Johnny's time there at that second split, but that second touch is going to prove costly, so he's going to have to really put the hammer down now to challenge Johnny's time.
And a review of gate 5 as well. I think it's for a 2 second, not a 50, I think, from memory. There's a touch on 19 as well, so he won't be happy, Peter Kauser. Was going to retire after Tokyo, but with the 3-year Olympic cycle this time instead of 4, he thought, well, I'm this close, I might as well keep going and try and get to Paris. So he's kept on going. He's prolonged his career a little bit. Not happy at all with that. So at least 6 seconds in penalties. Doesn't really matter whether it's 8 seconds or 6. He's not going to be in the mix, I don't think, with that time. Peter Kauser. So the next paddler on the course is another Australian, Benjamin Pope. 15th in the sail last year. Great to see Popey here paddling in Augsburg.
Yeah, it was really nice off the start there from Ben Pope as well. Super smooth. Got gate 2 clean, where the last few we've seen struggle with that gate, being a bit lower than maybe it was yesterday in the heats.
So if you were still sitting in the sheds waiting to go and you looked up at the leaderboard and you saw that time is still, high 90s, would you feel a bit more relaxed at this stage? Oh, goodness me, there's a big touch there. But would you feel a bit more relaxed now, Chris, or how would you feel if you were watching on?
I don't think it changes the way about going to do the run. It's like you've set your plan already. It shouldn't matter what other people have done and delivered. But I mean, it looks like a lot of people are struggling with penalties, so I think just being aware of that is just a clean run. If you keep your boat running, I think we'll be really competitive here today.
So 4 seconds at least, possibly 6 seconds for Ben Pope, which means that he's going to have to really fly across the water for the back half of this run. But he's throwing the boat around, but I don't know that he's going to be able to match it in the end with Johnny Dixon's time, which is still sitting up there looking good. Oh, that was nice. So yeah, 98.47 is the time they're all trying to beat. Well, he's close actually with.
Yeah, he's come back in touch there. See if he can deliver this bottom move, and I think it could be tight. Got a bit caught up there in the eddy at 21. So
let's have a look now. He's going to be outside Johnny's time, I think, Johnny Dixon, but he might be close to the 100 mark. No, just over for Ben Pope. So unfortunately for him, down in 5th position. And again, 6 seconds in penalties, very costly for these paddlers. It's a tricky course, and these little mistakes are proving quite costly for a lot of these athletes. So Johnny Dixon's remains there at the top of the leaderboard, and here's a young man from Poland, Michał Pasiut, who will be having a crack at trying to take over the #1 position. 31 years of age, he won a World Cup silver in Bratislava back in 2019.
Yeah, I know he really didn't have the start to the season that he wanted. He had an injury, I think, just before his selection, so he's struggling to walk.
Really?
Yeah, but I think he's come through, and he's obviously paddling again now. It's good to see him make that semi-final, considering he's probably had limited training. So let's see what he can deliver today.
So nice and clean so far at the top. He got through that tricky 7-8 section. Although they now tell us they're going to review gate 8 just to keep it interesting for us. But everything else smooth at the moment for Michał Pasiut from Poland.
Yeah, he looks really composed here. He's taking stuff on, but not being too tight and not being really on the edge. It looks like he's really comfortably paddling within himself and just delivering this run really smoothly here. Yeah,
I think he's decided that if he can keep it clean, then it's a time that everybody else is going to have to work towards.
Really nice on the spin there. Good release.
Yeah, does not panic at all. There's no forced strokes. There's no panicking. There's no rushed moves at all. He's just trying to keep it within himself. That penalty now, that review has been taken off. So there you go. That's the result. His time all of a sudden is in the green, which means that he's faster than the best time on the course as we speak.
Just got to get out here nicely and get through this last gate and then sprint to the finish. And I think we may have a new race leader.
Oh no, I think he might just be outside Johnny's time. Let's wait for confirmation. It's going to be close. Oh yes, just. We have a new leader. Michał Pasiut from Poland has gone into the #1 position. And the Poles are pretty happy. A bit of a fist bump there for the Polish support team. They'd be pretty happy with that. Is that going to be the sort of time, though, Chris, that will challenge for a top 10?
I don't know. I think we're going to have to wait and see. I think a lot of people, as we say, are struggling with penalties on this course, so maybe.
Tyler Westphal now from the United States, 27 years of age, 17th in Krakow last year at the World Cup. Had a really good run in the heats to go straight through to the semis. And at the moment, here we go, gate 8 is the troublesome gate. Fine, I think. No problems there for Tyler Westphal.
Yeah, it looks like he's negotiated that top part of the course really nicely there. Just the touch on gate 9, I think, with the side of his body as he went through. But apart from that, it's looked really smooth and composed.
Going back for another look at gate 8. I think it's compulsory now. Everybody wants to have a look at gate 8 because it's so troubling. They can't believe anybody would have got through there without touching it. So a review there, but otherwise he's got a bit of speed. Tyler Westphal, he's thrown it together quite nicely.
Yeah, he's a bit down on Pasiut's time, but we know that he probably had some time in the bottom of his run where he got stuck on the curl. So we'll have to see if Tyler can keep it together.
So they're going back to review gate 9 again now. The gate 8 was removed, but gate 9 is under review. 16 was a definite 2-second penalty. So is that going to be too costly for Michał Pasiut from Poland? At the moment, he's well and truly outside. The best time.
I think them plus 4 seconds and penalties probably a bit costly for Tyler there,
yep.
But it's good to see him in the semi-final and trying to laying down parts of a good run, just them penalties as we saw.
Yeah. So Tyler Westphal, 9th at the moment, pending. There's an asterisk next to his name. They'll have a look at a couple of those potential touches. But I would think even if those touches get removed, it's going to be very hard for him to hold on there for a top 10 position. Now we have one of the German paddlers, Stefan Hengst, and you can never discount the Germans in Augsburg, can you?
No, the Germans are so good here. They all know how to paddle this course really well, and we know Stefan can be so fast on this course, so let's see what he can lay down today.
2021 at the World Championships, he not only made the final, but he finished 5th, so we know what he's capable of. He's done very well in kayak cross over the past couple of seasons. really made a name for himself in that area of paddling. But look at this time now, Chris.
Yes.
It's green.
Stefan looked awesome on the top of the course. He just kept his boat running really well. He used the water really well, and as you can see the cross here, 10 to 11. Touched down on the bow, but I think he might have that sort of time in him at the minute if he carries on the run the way he's done at the top.
So bells come out for the German paddler. Even with the touch, he is fastest on the course at the moment. So can he hold it together for the bottom of the course? You can hear in the background the German fans really getting behind. They love their canoe slalom here in Augsburg. There's a nice healthy crowd for a Friday afternoon out here watching, cheering on these paddlers. Stefan Hengst at the moment, the time looks pretty good. The gate, nothing too dramatic. He's looks like he's racing a little bit within himself, Chris. Yeah,
this is where we know the Germans come into their own, though. They're all so fit, so just at the bottom of the course is where they're going to make that time, just being able to out-paddle anyone. As you see here, he's just done that curl, got out, and he's just on that sprint to the finish. Let's see if he can take pass shoot off top spot, but I think it's going to be close with that touch as well.
I think he's going to go under, so that's a pretty good paddle there for Stefan Hengst, well under. And that is your new time to beat, folks, even with that gate touch. So I think you're right, Chris. I think when we get down to the top 4 or 5 paddlers, the Yuri Priskovics, the Joe Clarks, they'll be looking at it around the 90-second mark if they can hold it together.
I think the low 90s is definitely on. Let's see who can do it. Giovanni is definitely a man who's capable of doing it, so let's see if he can do it on this run here.
Giovanni De Janeiro, silver medal at the World Championships here on this course. I spoke to him the other day, I sensed there's a bit of frustration for him that he's just never quite nailed the big one, the gold medal at a top level, and he really wants this year to be his year. And he's super fast, we know that. And Augsburg, he said, is not his favourite course. He always seems to get into a bit of trouble. Oh, was that water or was that a boat touch?
I'm not sure. He's looked pretty composed throughout the rest of it. I mean, he medalled here last year, obviously, so we know he can be good here. Even if he says he doesn't like it too much.
Oh, there's a touch, big touch.
Touch with the bow there on gate 11, but again, we know Giovanni's fast enough that he can probably absorb that if he delivers the rest of the course really nicely.
Well, the fastest time on the course does include a gate touch at the moment from Stefan Hengst, so Giovanni can do this and get away with it. It's just a matter of now making sure that he doesn't make any more mistakes. Looking good at the moment.
Yeah, he's looking really composed through that 3-gate stagger there. We've seen people struggling with. It's taken onto the S now, which, he's delivered that really nicely there.
There's time to be made up there if you can nail that move. And at the moment he is, look at that, he's well and truly under the best time. So pressure is on though, the bottom pushes off the side. Obviously that's perfectly legal.
Yeah, it's just that little slip on the edge there, but I don't think it cost him too much because he kept his boat running down really nicely, and I think we're going to see a new race leader here.
Yes, we are. About 95 seconds for Giovanni De Janeiro, which is a very good time, and he fist pumps the air. Imagine what he'd be like without that gate touch.
Yeah, and I think there we're seeing that 92.54 without the gate touch, so the low 90s are in there, and we saw a mistake on gate 11, so there's certainly a faster time in that, so it'll be interesting to see what we can get down to when more and more people come through.
So what are we up to now? We've had 15 athletes go. We're not even halfway through this yet. We've got a lot more paddlers to come. Adam Gonsenica from Slovakia is now on the course. Adam is, he's 23 years of age, 14th at the 2021 World Championships on his home course. And he'd be pretty pumped, Chris, to be in a semi-final here today.
Yeah, I mean, they've shown a bit of trouble there, maybe on gate 4. I think they've given it 50, but it looks like they're going to review it, and just getting caught out on 9 there as well. Just the water's pushing him about, and we see that on this course because the water is so wild. But apart from that, it looks like he's just easing into his run. We'll see what the judge comes out on gate 4, and looks like they've made the decision there that it's a 50-second penalty.
So a 50 for Adam Gonsenica from Slovakia. Just the second 50 for the men's semi-final so far, though. So that's disappointing. Now he's probably heard it in the because you can hear the commentators quite often, can't you? You can hear if they tell you they've got a 50.
Yeah, I can imagine if he's heard it, it'll be pretty frustrating. But see if he can deliver the rest of this run, and then he can move on to Prague and reset for that race.
So at the moment, the top of the leaderboard, it reads Giovanni De Janeiro from Italy, sitting on top, Stefan Hengst from Germany in second position, and Mikhail Pastyuk from Poland third. Johnny Dixon still there in fourth spot, but with more than half the field still to come, I don't know that Johnny will be able to hold it together nerve-wise for another 25 paddlers. But unfortunately for Adam Golsenica, that's not going to result in a final today. Does he look happy with a 50 or not? He's sort of thinking, oh well, whatever. I'll just...
I think again, if you're sort of leaving that out there and asking the question to the judges, you can't be too annoyed if you get given it. If you flash your head at something, it's in the hands of the judges, and you've just got to accept what they decide.
So now we have another of the Polish paddlers, Dariusz Popiela from Poland, 8th at the Olympic Games in 2008. He was also, I think, in Tokyo, and out here. No, sorry, 8th last year at the European Championships as well for Dariusz Popiela. 37 years of age, so he's been around for a while. One of the more experienced paddlers on the circuit. Yeah,
it still doesn't stop him being fast though. Like we know Dariusz can put a run down when he goes, and he's really fit as well.
There's a touch there,
and he can out paddle most of the young guns for sure.
It's Poland have really come along in men and women over the last few years. There have been a lot of really good, strong paddlers that have come through, and we regularly go there to Krakow, which is always an interesting course and a great atmosphere there. So we'll be there for the under 21, under 23 and junior championships this year, and of course the European Games are there as well.
Yeah, they're holding 2 races, which is really exciting to see. I mean, Dariusz is looking good here. He's in touch with Giovanni's time, and he's been looking quick through this section here. So let's see if he can hold it together through the bottom of the course.
So they're reviewing gate 9. I definitely saw a touch there on gate 9. Whether they think it might have been a 50, I don't think so. But look at his time. His time without that review is fast. So now he just needs to...
Just getting caught on the curl there a bit. Might cost him a bit of time, but he just needs to get down and get paddling towards the bottom of the river now and finish his run off.
So the fastest time is around 94.5, and he's going to come in just over that time, but with that 2-second penalty still being reviewed. I don't know if we've got time to go back and look at gate 9. I thought it was a pretty clear touch, but the judge is having a very close eye on that.
It's interesting to see top 3 paddlers there, all with a 2-second penalty. So we know there's definitely more time in it, but just showing how hard this course is to get clean at the minute.
Well, only 2 paddlers so far, Chris, have actually gone down clean, which says something for the standard of the course here and how difficult it is. Vid Marisic from Slovenia now on the course, and 5th in Tucson last year at a World Cup. It's very, very fast, especially on his home course, but can he hold it together and do something special here in Augsburg?
Yeah, he's had a really composed start to the course there, going for the punt on gate 8, which is, we haven't seen many people do that, but it looked like it worked out all right for him, so let's see if he can just carry on this run as he's going. Looks really composed, really smooth style, and just lets the boat do the work and tries to make it as effortless as possible.
So at the moment you can see it's green next to his time, which means that his split is faster than the leading boat at the moment, which is Giovanni De Janeiro. So, and he still maintains that slight advantage. So he'll be pretty happy with that at this stage of the course. But the trick now is to hold it together and not give away any silly penalties down the bottom of the course. If he can do that, if he can hold this back half together, then he'll definitely be in the mix because he's fast. The top half was fast for him.
Yeah, as I say, he's looked composed all the way through, really. I think he's lost a bit of time in that spin there, but maybe he's got that in him as he's stayed clean, which a lot of the other guys haven't.
So just slipped out a little bit in the middle of the course. Can he bring it home and get himself into a position? Ooh, yeah, he got there eventually. Get himself into a position where he can challenge for a top 10 finish. Only 10 paddlers will go through to this afternoon's final. And will this be one of them? I don't think so. Unfortunately, just lost it a little bit at the bottom half after a really strong top half.
Yeah, that bottom half proving costly for Vid there. I think just on the exit of that upstream, he lost a lot of time, and yeah, until then he looked like he was on for a good run.
Now our first New Zealander for the afternoon, Callum Gilbert, who is out, went to the Olympics in Tokyo, was 9th at the Under-23 World Championships in 2019.
Yeah, costly start there for Callum. Let's see if he can compose himself and like carry on the rest of the run. Not try and chase it, but again, yeah, that touch as well. I think it's gonna prove hard for him to challenge now, but you never know. See what he can do with the rest of the run.
Of course, a great slalom course down there in New Zealand, in Auckland. Have you been down onto the?
I've never been to Wero, but from what the guys say, it's really good out there. They get a decent amount of water that they can paddle on, and yeah, I think you can tell they've been paddling on bigger white water recently as the Kiwis have just made that step up and started, more and more of them are starting to challenge through semi-finals and finals.
Of course, we were meant to go there a couple of years back for, there's another touch, for I think it was the under 23s, but I think that was during COVID, and then of course during the early stages of COVID, there was nothing on, so unfortunately we never got a chance to go there and test out the stadium, but yeah, nothing but good reports coming out from Auckland of the quality of the stadium and the water there. It's pretty good. So unfortunately, though, I think for Callum Gilbert, he's not going to get through to tonight's final. He sort of looks resigned to it now, doesn't he? He's,
yeah, just getting caught out there in the eddy. I mean, with the penalties and the mistake he had at the top, it was always going to be a big ask. I think he probably wants to finish this run now and then reset for Sunday for the kayak cross, which I know he's taking part in.
You doing the kayak cross?
Yeah, I'll be at the kayak cross on Sunday.
Well, you had a good result last year, didn't you?
In Krakow.
Krakow, wasn't it? Yeah, I think did you make the podium in Krakow?
Yeah, I won the Krakow World
That's right, yeah. So we're looking forward to big things from you on Sunday then. No pressure, of course, but if you'd like to deliver, that would be fine. Now, the speed machine. The speed machine, who is Jakob Grigor, recently became a father and told me the other day that his wife is expecting again. So
congratulations to Grigor.
Yes, so he's going to have his hands full. He's going to have 2 kids within the space of 12 months. I said to him, I said, you better make the most of this event then, because very soon you're going to find it very hard to get a leave pass to get out. But we know how fast he is. He was incredible in Tokyo at the Olympics, Jakob Grigor. Some of the fastest runs I've ever seen put down have been put down by him. Silver medal in Tokyo. Just if he can nail a good run, you know it's going to be fast, don't you?
Yeah, Grigor's so skillful. We see him drop his paddle there to avoid the touch. I'm not sure whether it was faster or not, but it certainly looked quite impressive being able to drop his paddle and then carry on with his run. Let's see where he's on the split. He was up on the first one. No, he's still up on the second one as well, so he's still definitely in touch.
May have a penalty coming his way though from gate 2, but he is the type of athlete who can pretty quickly absorb a 2-second penalty if he stays consistent. We know he's fast and he's looking pretty clean at the moment, not leaving anything to chance, going through the middle of the gates.
Yeah, through the middle of the course there as well. He's looked really smart and he's really good on the S there, so let's on this third split see where he is, but I can imagine he'll definitely be in touch.
There he is. He's just outside the fastest time at review. Still going underway though.
Just coming out of the up there, and he's just got to get through these last 2 gates through the stagger and then just get sprinting to the finish. But we could have a new race leader here.
He's certainly going to be thereabouts. 94. He'll just be outside it, but moves into 3rd. Gee, a 2-second penalty could prove costly if they decide to give it to him. They're having a long, hard look at it. So a bit of a nervous wait then for Jakob Grigor at the moment. Here we go. Let's see what he did here. Don't see that too often, do you? Actually taking his hand off the paddle.
I think he's done it a few times. He's maybe making a bit of a name for it. Maybe it could be called the Grigor.
The Grigor move. Yeah, everybody wants to have a move named after them. So Kazuya Adachi from Japan. Yeah, look, Kazuya is very proficient on the water, and
yeah, he made the final here last year at the Worlds, I believe.
And finished 9th in the final.
Just an early penalty for him on gate 4. I missed that one, but let's see if he can just compose himself for this through to the bottom of the course now.
So Adachi from Japan. Review on gate 4. They're having a look at that. They're still reviewing Jakob Grigor's penalty, by the way. There's still an asterisk next to his name, so obviously trying to get the best camera angle they can. Tadachi looks composed. He's always looks like a man who's panicking. Oh, and there's a very big touch, unfortunately, for
Yeah, unfortunately with the penalty there, and he was 5 seconds down on the split as well, so I think he's going to really have to put the hammer down here to be in a chance with making that final later this afternoon.
So Jakob Grigor, he'll be having heart palpitations there. He had the asterisk removed, and now it's being put back on again. So maybe they've decided to have a look at another gate. Maybe they just can't believe the Grigor move. The Grigor, and they're having a good close and trying to patent it for future World Cup slaloms. So unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be any finals action for Kazuya from Adachi from Japan outside the top 10 there, 15th at the moment.
It's exciting. We've got another German up next though with Noah Hege, and I know he's been really good at their selection series, so it'll be exciting to see what he can put down today. Probably didn't have the worlds he wanted last year, so I'm sure he wants to come back with a vengeance and make a point that he feels like he should have done better and make it right now.
2 seconds has been added to Jakob Grigor's time, so that's dropped him down to 4th on the standings at the moment. Noah Hege, 6th in the 2021 World Championships. Really strong competition in Germany at the moment, obviously for positions on the team, and you really want to give it your all when you're out there on the water.
Yeah, he knows this course like the back of his hand as well, so it'll be really good to see him going down. I mean, we saw that the advantage that Stefan Hengst had when he was doing his run, just from knowing the course, he looks so composed, so we know the home advantage of the Germans on this course, and let's see if Noah can put this run down now.
Good so far, the bell comes out.
He's looked really good so far, and see where he is on this next split.
Oh, look at that split time, folks. We're seeing something special here. We've been waiting for something to really light up this semi-final, and we might be about to see it. Noah Hege might be the man to light the torch paper and let it rip, because his time at the moment has been, he's got a 2-second touchdown at 14 and a review on gate 8, so that might cool his...
Yeah, 14 just caught him out there, but I mean, he had 2.5 seconds, so on the second split he's 0.7 down, so if he can do a really good bottom section here, he definitely has a chance of going into the lead.
Noah Hege, you can hear the home fans, you have family there in the stands cheering him on, yelling at him to really dig deep here. 95 is going to be about the time, so 94.92. That's not bad. He's moved into second, but that review that he's got to just wait for. The judges are working overtime there in mission control.
Here we can see gate 8. I mean, it's hard to see from that angle whether he touched it or not.
Yeah, they'll have a closer camera. Here we go. This might be, oh, yeah, there's a touch. I don't think that was water. I think that was definitely his arm. So that might be problematic for Noah Hege, unfortunately. Now, Boris Nouveau.
I'm sure he's got pretty good memories from being here last year.
Yep, I'm sure. Always competitive. There's always a strong fight, even within the French team, to get out there and compete. 2021 world champion as well, 3rd last year here, so he's a big time performer. Oh, he's got stuck there though.
Getting caught up in gate 8 there and an early touch on gate 4, so I mean, he's going to have to really work hard now to actually get in the mix of that final later.
So not a very good top end of the run for Boris Nouveau. He's going to be out there giving it his all in the kayak cross later this weekend. He loves that event. He loves going out and smashing into people. Just enjoys it. A bit of a bash here and there just to keep people honest. Can he pick something up on the bottom half of this course though oh, no.
See him getting caught out there in the eddy, and that's going to cost him a lot of time.
Yeah. No, for the second time on this run, the boat wasn't doing what he wanted it to do. That's frustrating, isn't it, Chris? When you want to do something, you want the boat to do something, but the water takes you in the opposite direction, or it just stops you from getting where you want to be. Yeah,
it shows the power of the water and why you can't really fight against it. You've got to use it to your advantage. The more you can use the water, the better. It doesn't matter how strong you are sometimes. Like, Boris is a really strong guy, and still there, you got caught out by it, and there's just nothing he could do.
So no finals for Boris Nouveau, with 1 gate touch, possibly 2, but getting caught out a couple of times.
No, Hege has got his touch taken off, which has put him into the lead with a 93-second run.
That is interesting. They must have decided that was a water splash. on that gate. Benefit of the doubt should always go to the paddler, of course.
Yeah, I mean, if they can't see on the gate camera, they've got more angles than we have to see. You've got to trust them.
So from Brazil, now we have Matthew Desnos, who would be over the moon to make a final here in Augsburg. I think he was 23rd in the World Championships last year here, and he's out fast.
Yeah, he's looked really good on the top, quick on the top split, and done that 7-8-9 stagger really well, which we've seen people struggle with previously.
There's a touch. Unfortunately, we talk him up, we get the hard work done at the top of the course. Pushes off the wall though, trying to pick up a bit of speed. Yeah,
he's really good on that cross there, and he's kept 12-13 very straight. So let's see where he is in this next split, see if he is in touch.
So Matthew Desnos, we're over halfway now in this semi-final. And we're going to start to see very, very soon some cues starting to appear beside some names for qualifiers for the final later on today. I don't know now that Matthew Desnos with the 2 seconds and that he's going to be able to hold this together. It's a tough ask when your arms are hurting, when you're on the bottom of the course, everything's hurting. You've got water in your eyes, nothing's quite going right for you, is it?
Yeah, I think that touch probably quite costly for him, but it might still put him in sort of 5th to 10th place mix. Don't think it'll be enough for a final, but without the touch, I think certainly it would have been competitive.
So currently ranked 6th for Matthew with the asterisk next to his name. Definitely got one gate touch. Was there a second? We'll have to wait and see. There is his partner, Anna Satilla. Hello Anna, how are you? Enjoying the afternoon? Lovely Brazilian weather here in Augsburg. So now the first of our Swiss competitors, Galindo Cirello, who is on the course. Galindo, 25 years of age, finished 9th in Po last year. The Swiss spent a lot of time in Po. I think it's their main training base, isn't it, in Po? So
yeah, I don't think they actually have any white water in their country that they can they use. Yeah. So I think they tend to go to different climates to try and get some white water, and I think Po is definitely a favourite for them.
They are talking about building a slalom stadium in Switzerland, which would be fantastic. But I think it's a way off just yet. But Cirello's nice at the moment. No penalties at this stage. He's kept it clean. I think if you're sitting watching on in the stands, you think, well, if I can post a clean run, I'm going to be in the mix here.
Yeah, he's looked really composed on that top half. Kept his boat running well. Let's see where he is in this next split. 2.5 down, but we know that Hege was so far in front at the minute. I mean, he's in the lead by just 1.6 seconds. So if he can keep it composed at the bottom section here, I'm sure he can definitely be in with the top 3. Just getting caught out there on 16. I've seen a few people do that, of just not getting across far enough and just taking that hole on the back of their...
Yeah, struggling a little bit there as well. So after a pretty good top half of the course, just really finding it tough to hold it together in the bottom half. And what's it like, Chris, when you get down to the bottom? Your arms are obviously aching, but what? I mean, your mind. How's your mind feeling at this stage of the race?
Yeah, I think you've just got to try and focus on the next gate and just delivering what's in front of you. Trying not to think about how tired your arms are or how far it is to the finish, or even if you've done a good run or a bad run up till that point, because it doesn't matter, because you've just still got to deliver what's in front of you. Yeah. But it's certainly them thoughts are starting to creep in. And that's what the best do really well.
There he is, the Olympic champion, Yuri Priskovic. He's also through to the semi-finals of the C1. Can you actually believe that?
Yeah, really exciting to see him doing C1 as well.
Unbelievable.
We've got Pepe on course now, and he's a really exciting paddler, some really good canoeing skills. Yeah. See if he can put them on show today.
Pepe Goncalves. That's going to be... Oh, goodness me, Pepe, what are you doing to us?
I think you got caught out there, a bit tired out of the upstream, and just that 50-second penalty on gate 3, unfortunately.
2 of them, in fact, 3 and 4. We're too old for that sort of nonsense, Pepe. You can keep that in the sheds, please, mate, because I thought the 4 was close. They are reviewing it, but definitely there was a 50 there on gate 3. So that'll be disappointing for the Brazilian. Of course, he loves... His big event is the kayak cross. That's the one that he... Nope.
Yeah, I was sparring with Pepe in the kayak crossover in Lee Valley, and it was really exciting. No, it's good fun. It's good. Yeah, he's really good at it. His skills are pretty unreal on the water, and he certainly likes to hit you around. If you're in the way, he'll definitely paddle into you.
Well, he was one of the pioneers of kayak cross when it first started. There was a group of athletes who were there from the get-go, and they got a bit of a head start on everybody else because there were a few who didn't take it up straight away because they wanted to focus on their kayak or their canoe, and that's fair enough. That's you need to prioritise sometimes, and at that stage kayak cross wasn't in the Olympics, so why would you bust a gut for something that could potentially give you an injury or just an extra bit of workload you've got to do? But he was there from the get-go, and we're going to see him in the kayak cross. But as you can see there, he has run up 2 50-second penalties and a whole of 2-second penalties as well. So probably when he gets home to Brazil, he'll probably wipe that from the VHS.
Yeah, I think he probably knew he got that 50 on gate 3, and since then he was just, took a toll on him a bit. I think next up we've got Jakub, who's a really exciting paddler. I mean, he broke probably the first new person to break through onto the Czech senior team, which we know is so hard to break through to for a while, and not many people have heard of him, but he's won a lot of races at under 23 and junior, so he's certainly no slouch.
Well, I think in 2021 he actually won the junior and the European.
Yeah, he did. He won the Worlds and the European under 23.
1 year, so that's a pretty good performance. That was in 2021 as a junior, so that gives you an idea how old this young man is. He's only 21 years of age, and just exciting, an excitement machine, and fast.
Yeah, he's super quick. He really loves to sit on the gate line, and he moves his body a lot. See him have the touch there on the first upstream, but I mean, with the skills he's got, I'm sure he can absorb that, and just if he can keep going at the rate he's going, be competitive towards the end.
So 2 seconds at the very top on gate 2, and since then though he's held it together. He's not panicked, and as you can see, quite relaxed in his stroke, just making sure that he keeps everything in place, that he gets the rhythm going and the momentum. And nice through there, very nice indeed.
Yeah, let's see if he can tee up for the S now. He's holding it wide and coming through, and he's done that pretty well there. It's a really tough move, and just needs to release down and see what he can do.
So at this stage, just a little bit outside the fastest time, but there's a bit of time to be made up at the bottom of the course if he's good. Oh, that was nice.
That was really nice, and we know that's off Noah's time as well. So actually, if he's only 1.8 behind, he's potentially in touch for that second place.
In fact, he might even go close. No, he'll be second, maybe third after that. No, second. Good work. Excellent work there from Jakub Krečky, the 21-year-old from the Czech Republic. And he'll be pretty happy with that now. He's got a bit of a wait to see how that plays out, but you'd rather have that score on the board than have to come out and try and beat it. And the Czechs are pretty happy about that. There's some of the Czech media that are here, and the Czech canoe team here to watch on now. Hannes Agner.
Yeah, we know Hannes knows how to deliver on this course. He's done it so many times before, so it'll be exciting to see what he can put down today.
Two-time Olympic bronze medalist, former world champion as well. I mean, the man has done it all. I was interested. I thought that maybe after Tokyo, Chris, that he might give it away, but here he is. He's having a crack at another Olympic campaign.
Yeah, I think he's just enjoying it and enjoying the sort of the experience and being out there. We know Sebastian Schubert, who he probably has grew up and paddled with most, has retired, but he's still carried on and still been really strong and putting some really good performances. Just see him getting caught up on gate 11 there.
I guess when you've won 2 bronze medals, he probably just has that inkling that he might be able to go and win a medal of a different colour in Paris if he can paddle at his very, very best. It's going to be a tough ask. He's already 34, so he'll be 35 by Paris next year. But age is just a number, Chris.
Yeah, we know that. I mean, you've got some great performers who are that age, so I mean, certainly doesn't mean you can't do it. Yeah, see what he can do today. And that S was really nice there. He got away really well, and I think hopefully that should have made him some time up. He needed to pick up some time somewhere. He got a bit stuck there on the top part. Oh, he got stuck there as well. Just getting caught out on that, but we know that 1.3 seconds is off Noah's time, which is leading still by 1.3 seconds. So he could be in touch for that sort of top 5 position, which may be enough then to get him into that final.
He'll come through now in 5th position. Oh, I don't know that I'd like to be there. With the quality of paddlers still to come, I think I'd feel a little bit uneasy about sitting 5th with, what have we got, 12 paddlers to go. So yeah, and as it sort of goes in reverse order, so these are the 12 best paddlers from the heats as well. So, I mean,
it's going to be a tough ask, but you never know. We know how wild Augsburg can be and how people have been struggling. So people have got to stay clean, and he's done that run now, and it's on the board.
So here we have our Moroccan athlete, the African continent, represented here in the semi-finals. Mathieu Soldi, I saw him down in Sydney in the summer. He was down training down there at Penrith. He's got a bit of support from the Moroccan Olympic Committee to help him train and prepare. Morocco don't have a big Olympic team, so they'd be pretty excited, pretty keen to see Mathieu qualify for Paris and then to give a strong performance for the Moroccan team. And he's he's a much improved paddler, Chris. I think over the past couple of years we've really seen him step up, and he was 4th at the Under-23 World Championships, which is a great
it's
result.
really good to see someone who probably doesn't have the support from the big backing of a team that a lot of the other bigger nations have, being able to perform on sort of the world stage, both Under-23 and senior at that age, is really impressive and good to see, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to see him in the Olympics.
So at the moment, no penalties. A little bit slow, but clean. That's the important thing. And if he can hold that without giving away it would be heartbreaking now. His time's not that quick, so he cannot afford to give away a 2-second penalty.
Yeah, he's going to need to be really good on the bottom here to be in touch with the final. But I mean, as you say, yeah, he's been clean and just composed all the way through. So I'm sure he'll be happy with his run so far.
The last couple of gates to go, so he'll be around the high 90s, which will be a little bit difficult, unfortunately, to hold on and to make it through. So he comes in now at 8th position. I wouldn't like to pin my hopes on that, but look, it's every run is a learning experience for paddlers like Mathieu Soldi from Morocco. We know what he's capable of on his day. He's a very, very good paddler, and he'll put that one down to a bit of a learning experience to see what he can build on for the rest of what is a very, very long season. Now, the third of our Swedes, Isaac Ostrom, is on the course.
Yeah, the first two, Frederick and Eric, didn't quite maybe have the runs they wanted. See if Isaac can put it together, but I think gate 3, again, proving challenging for him as it did for Pepe with that 50-second penalty. Just tried to get back too early, and that was it. It's got the water took him, and it was too late.
Oh, it might be a 50. Did he get through it or not?
Yeah, I think he got through, but it just, I think, cost him time. And it meant he didn't get the line he wanted out through 9 and get across. But we just see him with that, again, that 50-second penalty to start, puts him straight out of the race, unfortunately.
So Isaac Ostrom, who I think, from memory, won one of the COVID World Cups back in 2020. Remember, we had a couple of World Cups.
Yeah, I think you're right. And we know he can be fast on his day, and has the potential to make finals and challenge for medals after that, but just not today, unfortunately.
No, another pinball machine run, unfortunately, just going from gate to gate for Isaac Ostrom. So today will not be his day. He's not going to make it through. In fact, gate 3 now was a 50-second penalty. I thought it looked to me like he was trying to get back to get through, but didn't quite make it. So 50 seconds, that is a tough one at gate 3 when you've still got 20 gates to go, to know you've got that hanging over your head. So Isaac Ostrom will not make the final. Noah Hege is looking good, and very, very soon he could have a Q alongside his name, because we're getting close now to the top 10.
Yeah, I think once Lucien finishes his run, who's next? It will be into qualifying. So let's see who can get the first qualifying spot, whether it'll be Lucien or whether it'll be Noah.
Lucien Delfour from Australia. He had a bit of a mishap on the flight over from Australia. It's one of those things, Chris, you're very lucky, European-based athletes, that you don't have to fly too often with your boats. And he flew from Sydney to London, and when they got to London and he got his boat off the plane, they didn't take it out of the bag, but when they got to Lee Valley and he took it out of the bag, the front part it virtually snapped off.
Yeah, it's always tricky flying with boats, unfortunately, but I think it's part of the game. Thankfully, it looks like he's got a boat back in time, so he can race it.
He was fortunate because he had a boat down in Po, so he just went down on the train for the day, picked up a boat or plane. I'm not sure. I don't know whether he'd be going to fly down there again after already losing one boat, but went down, picked up a replacement boat and back, and here it is.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like the boat's good because he's been in touch so far, only 0.7 off Noah's time, and he's importantly staying clean, which we know is so important in this race today, as we haven't seen many of clean runs go down. Yeah, that was really nice on the spin there.
He is fast, Lucien Delfour. He's like Peter Kauser. He cuts the edges sometimes, cuts the lines, and oh, it's interesting. That's okay.
Yeah, that was nice on the upstream. Opting for the conventional upstream there instead of the S, which a lot of other people are doing. But
look at his time.
It's put him in the mix, and he's up on Noah's split there. See if he can keep it together to the finish and take that qualifying spot.
And he'll be hearing the commentator getting very excited in the background. And Lucien likes the sound of excited commentators, I can tell you. And now he's racing for the finish line. We are going to have a new leader, I think. Oh, just outside.
No new leader.
Oh, what the hell? Well done,
so
Lucien
Delfour with the first qualifying spot.
Jess Fox gets a smile, probably a first smile on her face since her K1 run, which if you're just joining us, unfortunately for the Australian team and unfortunately for Jess, didn't go to... Oh, no. Not a penalty review for Lucien Delfour. He will love that. He will love this, especially if they give him a penalty. There they are, down there in mission control. David Bowie and the team just down there, just keeping an eye on things. And
I think it looks okay. I think it was just a water splash, but I mean, we'll see what the judges say. So we'll keep an eye on it and keep people informed.
The Australian team, they'll be hovering outside. There you go. They'll be happy. The Australian team would have been hovering outside the door. They're just waiting to come in and give their advice on how things should pan out. But no need. They can keep their powder dry, because Lucien Delfour was clean and he is the new race leader, and he has a Q alongside his name. So he is the first man into the final.
See Martin Halson on course now. We didn't actually see the top of his course, but looks like he maybe had a bit of a mistake being 7 seconds down on that first split.
Yeah, maybe he was on gate 4 where they are doing a review. So Martin Halson, who was 6th in Magdeburg back in 2019, hasn't really made it through to too many finals since then, so he'll be hoping to pin something together, to put something together today. It's a wide open opportunity today, isn't it, Chris? The fastest time isn't...
Yeah, I think he's probably a bit far off with whatever mistake he had at the top, but I mean, he's held it, but in the second split he hasn't lost any more time, but I think it's probably too big an ask now. He's had that mistake, it's cost him a lot of time, and that's it. But see if he can keep it together for the bottom of the course and maybe get himself a top 20.
Yeah, well and truly outside now, nearly 10 seconds behind Lucien Delfour's time. Chris said at the start of the broadcast that he thought low 90s would be the time, and gee, I tell you what, he's spot on it. 92.9 is Lucien Delfour's time, and it's clean. So, and Noah Hege, who was also clean, just 0.02, and Hege now is through. He is the second athlete through, so the Germans will be happy. Chris, they've definitely got one finalist. Yeah,
we'll definitely be happy with that, and Hannes is still in potential to get that final spot, but we've still got some really good paddlers to go. Renier up now, who has probably a pretty unique style. He almost looks like he's not trying, but he's definitely going quick on the water when he's paddling.
Oh, there's a touch though early on, unfortunately for Benjamin from France. So at the moment he is looking at a time to beat of, well, Jakob Kretschke is the one on the bubble at the moment with a time of 94.23.
And he got that with a penalty as well, so
Indeed.
we know it's possible to do with a penalty. So even though Renier's got that early penalty,
oh, but there's another one.
Another one there, but maybe too much now, but we'll just wait and see what he can put together. He's looking quick apart from the penalties. It looks like he's keeping his boat moving really well.
The interesting thing is, in the top 10 at the moment, there are only 3 athletes who had clean runs.
But 2 of them are in first and second.
Yeah, exactly right, yes. And the other one was Matas Soji from Morocco, who's currently seen in the 9th position. So nobody with 4 seconds is anywhere near the top 10. So I don't know that, unfortunately for Benjamin Renier, that he's going to be able to get through to the finals today.
Yeah, he's looked good on that spin there, really good on the S there, on that, just dropping his edge and getting the speed. Let's see where he is on this split, see if he can maybe be in contention. Only 2 seconds off the split, so okay. I mean, if he can deliver this really well, he can certainly be in contention to be in that little pocket that might make the final.
So it needs to be very good though for the bottom half. Oh no, there you go, there's another touch. So that's 6 seconds in penalties, and that will...
But there we see a sub-actual 89 running time, so even though he had them +6 of penalties, we can see that there's definitely more in there, with Lucien being only a 93.
So I don't know that he's questioning the call. I think he's probably questioning why he managed to give away a couple of easy touches there. Unfortunately, which has taken him out of well, he's 7th, so he's still in the mix. And as you said, Chris, that is a very fast raw time for Renier from France. Mario Leitner, who well, there we go. Everyone seems to be having trouble on that second gate.
Yeah, gate 2 seeming challenging, and this 3-4-5 stagger. Seen a lot of people struggling with that, but it's gone now, so he's just got to reset and paddle the rest of this course. Again, we know that people are in that top 10 position with touches at the minute, so he still could be in touch to be quick enough to make that final. He just needs to keep it together.
Well done to the young man from the Czech Republic, Jakub Krečky. He's confirmed through to the final, so that'll be a thriller minute for the final already. We've got some real racehorses lining up for that top 10. Mario Leitner, he's also a paddler, Austrian paddler. He's been around for a few seasons. 3rd in the 2019 Under-23 World Championships, but he's always up there in the mix, isn't he? He's consistent.
Yeah, Mario's really good. He's got really long arms and sort of doesn't try and rush the moves and paddles the water really well and can see what's in front of him, which I think is definitely an advantage on this course where the water changes so much. But just them sort of 2 penalties that are probably proving a bit costly for him, but we know, as Renier sort of showed, there's definitely a quicker time in there, so maybe he could do it with the +4.
So let's see. Oh, he's about 6 seconds behind though, which wouldn't be too much. I think there's a review as well on gate number 10, so that'll be the killer. That'll be the confirmation that puts him out of the top 10. But he's going to be under the 100. He's going to be about 97, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, his raw time certainly would have been quick enough for a final. So
yep.
Frustrated by them touches, I can imagine, but at least he knows what he needs to work on for next week in Prague.
And Giovanni De Janeiro is through to the final here.
He'll definitely be happy with that, backing up his final last year, but seeing if he can one-up his silver medal instead for a gold.
Now, Vit Prindis, who, if he paddled for any other country in the world, would probably be an Olympic medalist.
Yeah, Vit's pretty incredible, but the Czech team is also pretty incredible, so he's never had the chance yet to go to the games. I'm sure he'll want to be battling Yuri right to the end to go to the Paris Games, but it's not going to be easy for any of them.
No.
And with Jakub Krečky in there now.
Exactly. Vit, of course, world champion. He was fantastic last year. He had such a great season through the World Cup season, and is just such an exciting paddler to watch. But always, when you're up against Yuri Priskovic for that one position in the Olympics, it's a tough ask, and it's the tough world for canoe slalom. You can only take one athlete from each country, and it means that a lot of very good athletes are sitting at home watching it on the telly.
Yeah, Vit's looking really good though, and really composed. Doesn't really look like he's wasted any energy so far, and clean up until gate 14, and really nice around that gate there, and certainly in touch on the split there. Let's see if we can deliver on the bottom end of the course.
So for those watching at home, the split time is actually it's not foolproof, because it is taken by hand with the split for the athletes when they go through a certain section. So you can, I mean, it gives you an idea of how well they're travelling, but it's certainly not 100% accurate. You can see there he's just a little bit outside Lucien Delfort's time, but very much in the mix here. Oh,
getting caught out there on that in the eddy. Let's see how much that's cost him, and see if he can be in the mix for that final time, which currently is a 94.5.
Yep, currently it's Dariusz Popiela from Poland who's sitting on the cusp. He is okay, I think. Oh no.
Just outside there. That move at the bottom proving really costly there for Vit.
Yeah, a clean run, but yeah, just going up and down on the one spot there for a little bit, which really lost probably a second and a half there, which has made a big difference for Vit Prindis. Good news though for Poland, because they now have an athlete in the final. It's Dariusz Popiela who is through to the top 10. Martin Duguid from Switzerland now is on the course. Second in Po in 2022 at the World Cup there. Always puts on a good show. He's always thereabouts in the World Cups.
Yeah, Martin's pretty exciting both on and off the water from what I hear. So he certainly likes to make people laugh and have a good time on the canoe slalom circuit.
There's a couple of them actually in the Swiss team. I don't know why, because nothing for the Swiss to laugh about, but they're very, very funny, and I think they're a good bunch of guys to be around.
Yeah, I think they've got really good energy, and they definitely keep each other entertained and happy, and making sure they have a good time on the road, because it's always a long time.
Yep.
His run here is looking pretty good as well. He got a bit caught up in gate 8 there, but not too bad on the split there. He's definitely in touch.
Yeah, he's only 0.34 of a second outside Lucien's time, Lucien Delfour, who was fast at the top of the course. So he's going okay. The time he needs to be under, because at the moment it's Hannes Agner, the German, who sits on the bubble. He is on 95.9 for Hannes Agner from Germany.
He was really good there. So actually, I think we could be seeing a challenger for the new lead here.
Whoa, look at that time. He is the new race leader on the water. Now here's where Vitprinder's got into trouble. No worries at all though.
No, Martin did that really well. I think we could be seeing a new race leader here.
Martin de Good, is he going to go under 90? It's going to be very, very close. It's going to be just over 90, but it's our new race leader, folks. Well and truly. Whoa, he said, what happened there? Pretty happy about that.
Yeah, he looked a bit surprised by that, whether he thought he had more mistakes than he had in his run.
He says, I don't know what happened, but
from what we saw, he looked pretty good all the way down. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be pretty excited. Maybe he's got more to give.
Maybe he has, but he looked like he was more surprised than anybody that he was there on top of the leaderboard. So well done, Martin Dugood. We have a new race leader. But the young French teenager, the excitement machine, Titian Castric from France. Look, he's absolutely lit up the under 20, the junior competition for a couple of years now, and it's just exciting to see. He was 2021 and 2022 junior world champion.
Yeah, Titouan, he's definitely exciting to watch. We know he made the final here as a junior paddler. He made a senior world's final, so we know he can be fast here. And let's see if he can put it down in this semi-final now and make another final in Augsburg.
Yeah, and what's going on there? Somebody had their hand out there and giving him a signal of some sort. I don't know what that was. He looked a bit surprised.
Yeah, I think he went to punt off the wall and there was someone's foot or something in the way, but it looks like he got away with it fine, and it's not bothered his split, as he's up on the split against Martin Dugood, who did the 92 just.
Might have a look at that replay later on, because if that has affected his run, but look, let's hope that doesn't come into play. Let's hope that if he gets through, that he...
I mean, it doesn't seem to have affected him so far. He's still looked really good for the rest of this run. He looks really composed. He's in touch on this bottom split, so let's see if he can deliver this bottom move nicely, and I'm sure he could be in for another final here.
So Hannes Agner is still the time. He's the guy on the bubble, the German, at 95.9. So that's what we're looking for here from the French teenager. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be very close to the fastest time. He's just outside it, but he is through to the final.
Yeah, he looked really composed there. He looked like he could do that all day long, so it'll be interesting to see if he tries to up the gear in the final, or whether he just tries to do the same thing again.
Gee, it's exciting, isn't it, seeing young guns? Here's another one. This guy's an excitement machine. I love watching him paddle. He's Felix Oschmarsch from Austria. He's fast. He always gives it his all on the water. He was second in the under-23 World Championships and sixth at the World Championships here last year, and just had a couple of little mistakes in the final which cost him a medal. But he's in a little bit of trouble up the top though.
Yeah, even though Felix is relatively young still, he's definitely been around for a while and has definitely had his fair share of senior results. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on here today. Bit sticky at the top, but I think he can probably absorb that if he can keep himself composed through this bottom move, through to the bottom, and just keep his speed, and we know he's got that strength.
Yep. So 2-second penalty there for gate number 9. Again, it's still Hannes Agner. He's the one nervously waiting to see whether he's going to be able to compete in front of his home crowd, in front of the home fans this afternoon. Be very nervous wait for him. Sitting at the moment in 8th position. There are only 3 more spots up for grabs.
Yeah, it's going to be tight here between Felix and Hannes on the split there. It's looking like it's going to be close. They're on for similar times. So Hannes has his on the board, but Felix can obviously go faster.
He's going to have to really pull something out here. This is crucial. Bit
sticky there on 18.
Yeah, I think he went too deep, unfortunately, for Felix. And that's sometimes all it takes. And now you can see, it's blown out to 6 seconds. which is way too much. He's way out of the running now, unfortunately for Felix Ochmatch, so no final for Felix.
But that may mean Hannes is in the final, which I'm sure the Germans will be very happy with.
Well, that's 2 boats already in the final now for Germany. So Felix Ochmatch crosses now in 17th position. And unfortunately not his day today, but for Hannes Agner, that is a final again. And you always know that if he's in a final, he's going to give it a big shake. Yuri Priskovic, Olympic champion, a couple of times world champion, the pocket rocket, Chris Bowers.
Yeah, Yuri is pretty special. I'm sure he'll show us a masterpiece on this course here and see if he can put it together.
Whoa!
Big caught in gate 2 there though, so not the start he will have wanted for sure.
Yuri Priskovic. Now he's already had a taste of the course today because he was in the C1 and he did 2 runs of the C1 today. Do you think that will affect him? He's had 2 runs already today, Chris? Or
maybe. I know when I was chatting to him previously, he said it's a new challenge, but he just doesn't know how it'll affect him until he does it. So I mean, this is his first experience of doing it at a World Cup. Has it affected him, hasn't it? We don't know. I guess we'll wait and see what the time says, but we know Yuri can just deliver, and we know he's really fit and strong and can put it together on the bottom of a course as well, so I would never count Yuri out of a run.
Absolutely not. So the athlete now watching on with interest is Benjamin Renier from France, who had 3 touches. If he can get through to the final with 3 touches, he will consider himself a very lucky man. His time was 95.91. So let's see if we can get a split here from Yuri and see how he's travelling. At the moment, just that top of the course where he got into trouble. He's gone a little bit deep there as well. So not quite going to plan. Not the Yuri Priskovic smooth run that we've become used to.
Yeah, I guess remember that it still has a touch that they're reviewing. So if that touch got taken off, he may be more in. Well, he definitely would be more in touch. And would that be enough to get him through? But we'll wait and see where he finishes up here before.
He needs to go under 96 seconds. Under 96 seconds will put him through, and I think he's going to be under that. He's fine. He is 8th at the moment. He's there. He is in the final, and there's no asterisk.
Yeah, so he did enough to get through to the final, even with them mistakes that proved pretty costly for him.
Let's have a look here. What's he done here? He's tried to go too early, and he's had to check himself. He's sat there. He's had a quick conversation with the pole, told it to get out of the way. Did the right. Now, Joe Clark.
Yeah, Joe's really exciting. He's been on really good form. We know he's fit and strong.
New dad. Yeah. He's a new dad.
He is a new dad. I know he's appreciating the amount of sleep he's been getting when he's been out here instead of being at home. So maybe that's going to up his game as well.
Well, he told me, I think he was feeling a bit guilty. He told me, I think he mentioned 2 times in his interview how grateful he was to his wife, who's at home, probably watching on. Hello to Belle and Hugo, of course, is Joe and Belle's son, and he was saying how much he misses being away. This is the first time he's been away really from his young son, so pretty keen to put in a performance here to justify the time away from home. Yeah, he's looking quick, got a touch on gate 8, but apart from that, he's really quick. I mean, he's still in touch on the split, even with that touch, and we know how many other people have touches in that top 10 at the minute, so he can certainly put it together and still be enough to be in that final. So it's either going to be, Joe. It's either going to be Joe Clark or Vit Prindis. Oh, what's he done there? Is he okay? What has happened there? Is he? I think he's okay. Just caught out there on the S. He did that quite well. I think he's still in touch. He just needs to keep it together, deliver this curl well. It's going to be tight. It's going to be a race between Vit and Joe here. He's got to go under 96 seconds, Joe Clark, to get into the final. Either way, we're going to have somebody of incredible class in the final because Vit Prindis is the man waiting. I think he's going to go under 96. I think Joe's going to be through. Yeah, he's into the final. Wow, there's a good back half for Joe. Hey, look at that. There's a set. There is a man who. There's a review there though that will be costly if they put 2 seconds on that. Gate 8 already has 2 seconds on it though, so I think that's been included in the time. Okay, so that would actually come off. So actually, if it comes off, it means he goes even higher. So either way, I think he should be in the final, which I'm sure he'll be really excited about. And we know he definitely had more in that run there. So here we go. What can we see here? It's a long way. Here we go. We'll get a better view here. Chris, what do you think? Gee. Hard to see there. I mean, I wouldn't like to make that call. It's a hair's breadth. That's why I'm not one of the judges. No, good luck there. Fortunately, though, it's... either way, he's in the final. It just depends how early or late he's off. Yep, yep. So they're having a look at that. You can see that is a bird's eye view, folks, of mission control. You see David Bowie there, just keeping an eye on things, checking out what's happening there. He's okay. Give him the benefit of the doubt, folks. Just for Chris Bauer's sake, just to give him a bit of a reward for sitting in here in the commentary box for the last hour. He doesn't. Joe doesn't care. He's going, oh well, don't care. Give it to me or don't. Doesn't matter. I'm in the final. Zippity doodah. So definitely, though, we know that the number a surprise. I think, Chris, at the top of the leaderboard going into the final, Martin Duguid. There he is. In fact, look at that. Your top 5. Would you have predicted that going into this semi-final?
Yeah, certainly maybe a change to what you normally see, but still, they're really top boats, and we've still got a world champion in there, an Olympic champ, well, 2 Olympic champions, world medalists. So yeah, it's still a really strong final in there, and I'm sure Vitt will be kicking himself just missing out there, but there's plenty more races to come, and I'm sure we'll see him perform. For sure, for sure. It's going to be quality. I mean, you will not be able to leave your seat, because the top 5, the first 5 on the course, that's your Olympic and world champions in the first 5, and then some of the young guns and some of the local hopes in the back half of the final will make for a pretty interesting finish. We will bring you the final a little bit later on this afternoon. What are your thoughts, Chris, before I let you go? Anyone particularly catch your eye out of that top 10? Anyone you thought looked like they still had a little bit of petrol left in the tank that they might be able to? I think we can certainly say that Joe and Yuri had a bit of petrol in the tank there, and see what they can deliver in the final. I'd like to think, I mean, we did see a sub 90-second raw time go down from Benjamin Renier. I know he's not in the final, but it shows that it's on, it's capable. So yeah, see if any of the lads can deliver that in the final.
So thank you for joining us. You'll be back, Chris, for the final for us. Come and join the final commentary. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage so far on this first finals day at the opening International Canoe Federation Canoe Slalom World Cup for the 2023 season, coming to you from Augsburg. Some fantastic racing already in the semi-finals. The finals, we know, are going to be top class. Some of the best athletes in the world trying to get that early advantage at the start of a very long season. The course is challenging, so the best athletes will have to be at their very best this afternoon if they want to challenge for a medal. But that is why they are here. That is why they are into the final, because they know how to paddle on this challenging course. We thank you very much for being with us, and we'll be back very, very soon with the women's final. Straight after that, we'll have the men's final in the men's and women's K1.
Thank you.